Well, ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We are all the way back. Baseball starts today. I know it's just spring training. I don't care. We made it. We made it. We made it through all the NFL chatter and all the, hockey chatter. We got some hockey chatter for you today. That was one of the best games I've ever seen last night. The NBA talk, Ben just shoving it, just jamming the Lakers and all that down our throats for the last few months. Yeah. It's done. It's not done, but our focus has shifted. And
We've
baseball
probably
is
talked
back.
Less than 30 minutes total of NBA in the last 3 months.
I don't buy it. For me, you know what? It feels like hours.
For you, yeah, probably.
It feels like sitting in one of those timeshare meetings that Adam does for free vacations.
Maybe 30 minutes total of basketball talk. And quite frankly, it's because it was maybe the craziest trade in sports history.
Paulie, I'm going to give you...
if you take that away...
If you take that away, I still feel that he's just been jamming. If I have to hear Rui Hachimura one more time, that name, then I'm going to lose my mind. But we made it, man. I know it's Cactus League, but holy smokes. It feels so good. It's just so welcoming when baseball's back. So welcome into Ben and Woods. Happy Friday to you. We made it through the longest 4-day week, I think, of my life. It's been insanely long and insanely busy, but so happy to be here on a glorious Friday morning. Got a great show planned for you today. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Benjamin, how are you? And most importantly, how is Rui Hachimura doing?
Rui is fine because
Okay.
he won last night.
Good,
but I'm good. I'm good. Glad to make it to
good.
Friday.
Good.
Nice little 4-day week.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the 4-day weeks feel longer than the 5-day
Way
weeks,
long.
but this one has moved along all right for me.
Oh, for you?
Yeah,
God
not bad.
bless, dude. It is. We got people in the chat. They're on the way to Peoria right now. Cole is on the road to Peoria right now. Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage, which is an interesting name. Also a place.
What a combination.
Also a place I would absolutely frequent. If that was a real place.
Is Randy the one who's going to be massaging my feet?
Let me see them things. Hey, Ben, sit down. Let me get my hands on them. Oh, man. You got a little corn on here. What's happening? You got a bone spur, Ben? I don't know why I just went into combo of evil JD Wicker and Randy Jones, but it's Friday. I'm beat. I'm absolutely beat. I would go to
Oh, Bob, it's just kid stuff.
I haven't heard that drop in way too long.
That's a deep cut right there.
Tevin says, you guys need to search Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. It's an old meme. And then Zachary says, wait till you hear the song. All right, I'm going to, Paulie, if you could.
Jones
Barbecue and Foot Massage. Would you
Is this
go?
safe for the radio?
I don't
by the
know.
way?
I'll find out.
But would you go to a place where you could eat a big-ass barbecue sandwich and get your feet rubbed? Because I absolutely would. In a heartbeat. Just go, man, this place is kick-ass. You got coleslaw dripping down the front of your shirt, getting your feet rubbed. Well, you can tell we're in a good mood today because, well, the weekend's upon us. We head out to spring training next week. I'm so excited about that. You just never know what you're in for when you get out there, and so we're obviously very pumped up about that. How was everyone's day yesterday? I got a fresh haircut. I really enjoy it.
Ooh, back mine today.
Back to the summer. I tried to grow it out over the winter. It is what it is. This is so much easier.
It's your baseball season.
It's my baseball
There you
season
go.
cut. That's exactly right. I went yesterday with my buddy Boggsy, and we took some grounders and threw and hit off the tee a little bit. It was really nice. It was a pretty wonderful day.
Let's see. I got some errands done, including a trip to Costco between works yesterday. And as I was going through the aisles, I could not stop thinking about our conversation that we had in the final hour of the show yesterday about you. Well, first of all, you said you had asked Hannah to get you a bagel. And
The bagel story always slays.
and she brought you a blueberry bagel, and you go, "Why did you bring me a blueberry bagel? If I asked for a bagel, I just
Plain.
just a plain bagel."
Or at the max sesame seeds on it. That's it.
Right.
Like that's as fancy as you can get.
And that led us to talking about what's the just default choice, like general. What would you expect to get if you just ask for? Then I said, well, if you ask for a muffin, you kind of do expect a blueberry muffin.
Blueberry.
That's the default muffin.
It's the default conversation. So you're pushing your.
So I'm walking through
You're
the carts,
pushing your cart around.
Exactly. I'm going through the chips aisle, and I'm going, well, if someone just said bring chips? That was a tough one.
Oh, not for me. If I said make sure you get chips, I expect red Doritos.
Nacho cheese Doritos?
Correct. Yeah.
It was kind of my first thought as well. It was either just tortilla chips or nacho cheese Doritos. Paulie, though, you think it's more potato chips.
If you said bring some chips, while they're not my favorite.
Bring chips to the party.
I would probably bring like Ruffles.
Plain Ruffles.
Plain Ruffles.
That's very fair as well. I think you can get away with plain Lay's, plain Ruffles. But in my mind, if I'm like, hey, grab some chips, my mind just kind of went to tortilla as well. So either tortilla or nacho cheese Doritos.
I think tortilla chips are more versatile because you can dip them in salsa.
Do you bring a salsa, though? Then you have to bring
If you bring tortilla chips, you have to bring a dip. If you bring red Doritos, you don't.
You don't.
You just show up.
They are already pre-dipped,
You know what's
essentially.
pretty good is red Doritos in onion dip. Pretty good. Ooh. It's pretty solid
But doesn't
combo.
it leave all the dust in the onion
dust
dip?
is in the onion
Yeah.
dip. It's really a snack for one.
Yeah.
Because you go up to the onion and you're like, oh, God, somebody cut their finger over this. Yeah. It's very used.
And then I was through the crackers aisle. What's the... Hey, bring some crackers.
Saltines. Or Ritz.
I thought Ritz, really.
Yeah.
No, I think Ritz I thought Wheat Thins was the default cracker.
For like rapist or something, yeah. I mean, 100%. Like number one, who eats Wheat Thins anyway?
Who eats saltines?
Ooh, love Wheat Thins.
Me. I suck them down like it's going out of
I don't
style.
eat saltines unless I'm like sick.
What?
Like,
Yeah, that seems
soup,
more
maybe.
of like a,
But if somebody said, Paul, if I
I can
said,
barely
Paulie,
keep anything down, so I'm going to have a couple of saltines.
question, if I was out, then I guess it would be I was sick, so you would know to bring me saltines. But if you said, Woodsy, what can I bring to the party? And I said, crackers.
I would bring
Ritz.
Wheat Thins.
No, you would not. There's no way.
I think
really?
I would bring Wheat Thins.
I feel like those are
Wheat Thins you can put cheese on.
But they're so
you
small.
Can dip them in dip. They are small, but I mean that's a good thing. I mean, giant crackers too big. You could put a little circular piece of salami on it.
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
guess so.
Now, I love, like my favorite cracker is a white cheddar Cheez-It, but I don't know that you just bring those.
They're good. They're good, but they're not the default cracker.
They're not
for like a
default.
party or
crackers.
something.
You're
No.
not. That's not what you're bringing.
Also, we're road tripping to spring training. If anybody eats white cheddar cheese, it's my cart. I'm going to slit your throat. I'm going to shiv you on the drive. You couldn't find a cracker that smells more like feet than those. You can't even touch them because they get the powder all over your fingers. The film on your fingers. You're like, these are so good, but they smell so bad.
Get some soup.
Chicken noodle.
Good choice. I was thinking maybe tomato, but chicken noodles probably.
Chicken noodle.
I think you're right.
And I like Campbell's chicken noodle.
This one I think was really easy. Get some juice.
Apple.
Orange. Apple. I mean, if you're like
I don't think you can go
apple.
wrong with either one.
I always drink. I mean,
I haven't had apple juice in decades.
It's my go-to at breakfast because I can't drink a lot of orange juice because I get heartburny. But I'll drink a gallon of apple juice a day.
All right, this one's going to be really controversial.
All right, here we go.
Give me a burrito.
Ooh.
If you said,
I think it's carne asada.
I think it's carne asada too.
I was gonna say California, but I don't think that's.
I think it's just a carne asada burrito.
What about a bean?
Could be a bean and
cheese,
cheese, but I don't know that everyone likes bean and cheese.
But I think not everybody eats meat
that's
either.
true too.
So if you said, "Hey, I'm going to bring you a burrito,"
You got another person, I guess.
Yeah.
If it was any of us, I
Carne
would
asada.
say carne asada is the safest bet.
I got you or a breakfast burrito. But I got you a carne asada burrito, or I just got you a burrito, and
It's
you
the
would
morning
know.
breakfast burrito is the obvious
It's
choice.
easy.
Probably bacon, eggs, cheese, breakfast burrito. But outside of morning, I think it's a tougher call.
I think it's probably carne asada.
It's probably carne asada.
Yeah, I think that's right. So your trip was good. Your Costco trip was nice.
Got most of what we were looking for.
Paulie, have you made any headway on the Jones barbecue and foot
I
massage?
have. I'm ready. I remember this now. I don't know if it was a real commercial
Probably
or just
fake.
an internet parody.
Yeah, which is
but
always good.
It's unbelievable, and I'm going to put it up here on the stream so
Oh, I
you can
can't
watch along. If you're watching us, and if you're listening, it's still great.
I feel-
Jones barbecue commercial.
I feel like
Jones barbecue and foot massage. Jones barbecue and foot massage. Better come down here, get some of this shit. You like to eat.
whoa,
America loves to eat.
Don't-
So why not
don't-
open up
don't.
somewhere America can sit down,
Maybe we ought to
enjoy a
stop
meal,
playing it
and get their
again.
feet rubbed. We'll
Nothing
fry
case.
anything you want for $5.99. As long as it's friable or edible, we gonna make it deliciable. We will fry parts of the chicken you didn't even know was friable. The beak, the feathers, we'll fry candy bars. All that European stuff that you don't really normally eat, we'll bring it down here and fry it for you. Ask McDonald's to fry something other than what they normally fry. Guess what you're gonna get? Nothing. If it fit through the dough, I'll put it in the fryer. Hell, this is a dinosaur. All our meats are gently tenderized to their optimum deliciousness. We got fine dinosaur meats. Took my money, made me pay child support. Come on down here and get you a slice. Once they get your social security number, it's over. Motivated, 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 motivated. So friends, let's just decide you don't want no barbecue. Well, that's fine too. Why not let one of my foot specialists or myself perform our magic? Look at that. Don't that look
Pouring
wonderful?
barbecue sauce.
If you really
Look at these
pay me
guys.
enough, we'll massage your feet in any of these sauces also. Success is the rule down here at Jones. Good ass barbecue and foot massage. So go ahead and give me a call or find us on the worldwide internets at the new website. That's JONES big ass truck rental and storage.com /Jones good ass barbecue and foot massage.html.
It's brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. I'm 99.9% sure it's a parody.
Oh, it's 100%.
But that got me good. This is a dinosaur. That's great. That's great. Yeah, there was a phone number on there. We probably could call it,
Ooh,
but
call them.
that was amazing. I feel kind of dumb for not knowing what that is, but thanks for schooling me on that.
All right, we will take a time out. We've got a menu to set. We have some special guests for you today. A little bit more than usual. We'll let you know about that when we come back, and obviously get into some Padres talk with the first game of the season coming up today at noon right here on 97.3 The Fan. You can listen to Padres baseball. It'll feel like the middle of summer again, which
Yeah,
is
man.
all we really are looking for. We like that summery feeling. First, though, let me remind you that right now at Kearney Mesa Volkswagen, your veteran and locally owned dealership, they are still celebrating President's Day. I know it was over. It was like last Monday, but all month long, you can still get the deals for President's Day and the best sale of the year at Kearney Mesa Volkswagen. Right now, drive home a brand new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta for just $199 per month. What can you get for $199 per month nowadays on a 24-month lease? Sleek, efficient, packed with tech. It's the perfect ride for San Diego. Or you can go electric with the 2024 Volkswagen ID4, $399 per month on a 24-month lease. German engineering meets zero-emission driving. Or if you need something a little bigger for the family, the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas starts at just $399 per month on a 24-month lease. 3 rows, tons of cargo space, advanced safety features. Perfect again for the whole family. And the best part, during the all-month-long President's Sale, you're going to pay nothing at signing. 0 down, 0 first month's payment, 0 security deposit. You're going to be driving it right off the lot at Kearney Mesa Volkswagen. Again, veteran and locally owned. Hurry in, though. They're not going to last long, these deals for President's Day, because President's Day already happened. So get there now to veteran-owned Kearney Mesa Volkswagen. Just go to KearneyMesaVolkswagen.com to check out more details. Before we go any further, I think we should acknowledge the clear win for the sport of hockey last night. Because anything that gets the three of us to watch a hockey game
all together texting about it in the middle of the game.
And texting about it, that's a clear win for a sport that doesn't get a lot of dubs, at least, probably in Southern California all the time. But, everywhere around the world, Canada, the United States, across the country, people were intrigued, interested, and bought in to that game last night and the Four Nations face-off. It was a roaring success.
I tuned in early. I wanted to see the national anthem.
Me too. Yeah. I saw both. I saw all of it. As soon as it was Taylor wanted to watch Transformers, and I put it on for about 10 minutes. I looked down at my watch and went, oh, it's 5 o'clock. And I walked in the other room and put it on in my bedroom and started watching the game, and saw the pregame ceremonies, and it was outstanding. It was an outstanding game, and I tweeted last night, I think having an NHL team here, I think it would actually put me in the grave. Because you have a rooting interest in the game last night, certainly. But if that's your hometown team and you're way into it, and there's 82 of those turds, not turds, those 82 of those games that you got to suffer through as a fan, it would be excruciating. Like if you love the team like you love the Padres or something, Ben, or the Aztecs, it might take 5 years off your life.
One thing I would like to talk about, and we'll get to it a little bit later in the show, though, is how it made me kind of rethink the concept of all-star games and what you can do outside of your normal season. Because I think by and large, we have decided, at least in this country, playoffs are the most important thing possible. But when we do that and we put so much emphasis on the playoffs and winning the championship, we devalue the regular season. And you're seeing that, especially in like basketball right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where the regular season has become extrely devalued.
Isn't it?
And then we really devalue anything that doesn't even lead to the playoffs, like an all-star game.
Okay, so while I agree with your overall premise, a lot of people say the same about baseball, right? They say there is no way I am slogging through 162 games.
Get to the dance, and then I'll tune in.
People say the exact same thing, and I used to be this way about college basketball. When you guys met me, I didn't really have a team to root for.
Wait for the tournament.
Wait for the tournament, and I love the tournament. I mean, you would sit and watch me, who didn't watch any college basketball. I would sit and watch basketball for 17 hours all day, bet on it, do the bracket, the whole thing. It made it really fun.
Like, while I watch more college basketball during the season than you, I don't watch a ton.
Well, I watch every Aztecs game.
But you can make the argument.
You get to March Madness, like there's nothing better.
There's nothing better.
But you make the argument, hey, at least you have to get to the playoffs. And it's a long baseball season, but you get to win, 87, 88 of those games if you even want to get to the playoffs. So they're not individually, each game isn't do or die, end of the world. But overall, you need to play well. Same as in college basketball. To get to the tournament, you have to hit a certain level, a standard to get to the NCAA tournament. There was no, in an all-star game, there's no meaning to it. There's no consequences to losing. And so you see that, whether it's on the ice or on the hardwood, that players' effort has generally waned in those games because there are no bigger stakes or consequences. Yet that's all we really crave as sports fans is we want the people who are playing to take it as seriously as we do as fans. And they were taking it seriously last night.
For sure.
No one can watch that and go, these guys didn't really care.
They didn't care.
They weren't getting paid. It's just an exhibition.
Bro, I had it on mute on the second screen or whatever at the end. They were celebrating like they won the Stanley Cup.
It was really cool.
They cared.
They absolutely cared.
Again,
that meant something.
But to my original point, Benny, I think, obviously I also think it is a matter of personal preference. I have, like, if I don't get to watch 162 Padre games this year, I'll miss one or two. Something will happen. I'll be somewhere. I can't get it. Whatever. It's happened to me before. It's a sense of loss for me. Like, I'm like, my whole day is planned around Padres baseball. And, if we had an NHL team here, I feel like it would be the same because I really enjoy the sport. I enjoy the violence of it. I enjoy the stoic, put your head down and work aspect of hockey. I loved at the national anthem when they're or the intros when they're announcing the players and they're all just stone faced. There's no waving, blowing kisses. I like that about hockey. It's cool. But I think it would kill me. I mean, I think again, a 3-2 regular season game for the San Diego Stars or whatever it would be would make me sick to my stomach. I think it would shave years off my life. Because last night's game, I mean, it made the hair on your arm stand up, man. It was really incredible.
Well, we'll talk about it coming up. We have some guests today, including our friend Rob Bradford is going to join us at 7:35. You might remember him. Very enthusiastic. He's the host of Odyssey's Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, and thought, what a great day to do it. First day of Cactus League play. Padres playing the Seattle Mariners. Get an update on stories around spring training. He's been covering it all. So Rob Bradford's going to join us at 7:35. And we'll have Sam Levitt, of course. Spring training Sammy is going to be with us in the 9 o'clock hour after Mike Schilt does his daily Schilt before his first game today, and get an update from Sammy on what's going on. Outside of that, we will talk some Padres baseball coming up and get you ready for the start of the Cactus League. The Aztecs got some big and positive news last night. Not to impact this season, but big and positive news coming from San Diego State. There was some interesting broadcast news in Major League Baseball yesterday.
It's a big day. There was a pretty huge breaking news story in baseball that just dropped about 10 minutes ago. Should we do it now or save it?
Save it.
All right, we'll save it.
We'll tease it coming up. So we'll definitely talk a lot of baseball on the program today as well. And our usual features on a Friday. Don't do this. Take on Woods, the Rindle Report, and we'll get you to 10 o'clock. We'll be out of here. Turn things over to Annie and Elston. All coming up here on Ben and Woods. When we come back, though, let's talk about the start of Cactus League play today and what we're going to be looking for from your San Diego Padres.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE000466.
First, though, the weekend is almost upon us, which is a great time to head down to 7 Mile Casino. I love Saturdays and Sundays because those are the only days you can get the weekend brunch at Sammy's. It's available 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Both of those days, they really kick up the menu. It's been voted the top brunch in the South Bay of San Diego. It's a great place to go, enjoy the patio on a beautiful weekend like this, and then sit down at one of their great tables.
Ooh, right when you walk in the door. My favorite, staring me right in the face, the California-style blackjack. Sit down, play some cards. You can go over if you've got the time. Their Texas Hold'em room is full. I mean, it's always bumping. There's always a good game there. There's baccarat, there's pai gow as well. But they got a great bar area. They got a great patio. It's a smoke-free environment. There's nothing. You can't even find anything, okay? Not one thing. You will love it. You'll love the parking. You'll love the ease of use. You'll love the friendly dealers. You'll love the smoke-free environment. You'll love the food. It's got it all. So check it out, my friends. Best part, just 7 minutes from downtown. Check it out for yourself. It's 7 Mile Casino.
I can't think of anything.
Not a damn thing wrong with
it.
Not one thing.
Not
one thing.
Really didn't.
7 minutes.
It's like it's too close to the water and has too nice of a view.
Yeah, the view's way too nice from the patio.
I mean, like when we were there last, it was busy.
Busy.
I mean, sometimes it's busy, but that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Anyway, 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is there to help. Their recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. All right, you mentioned some breaking news in baseball. Not going to affect most teams, but, and I assume this is what you meant, the New York Yankees just announced that after half a century of Steinbrenner ownership, they're changing their facial hair policy.
It's
and
insane.
For the first time in, a long time, if you are a New York Yankees player, you're going to be allowed to have a well-groomed beard.
Yeah, I'll read the statement here from General Partner Hal Steinbrenner. In recent weeks, I've spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees, spanning several eras, to elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniform personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy. And I think about over the years, some of the Yankees that had to come in and cut their hair and shave their face. Kevin Youkilis being number one. You've never seen anything like it. Johnny Damon being another.
Tim Hill. I mean, holy smokes. I think, look, man, it's 2025. Like, if you relax things like this, let these guys be themselves, you may get a better version of them. Like Dylan C. still wouldn't qualify because
it's not well-groomed.
It's not a well-groomed beard.
No, that's a briar patch is what he has.
Is there anybody in New York or a Yankees fan right now waking up going, yeah, this ain't the team I rooted for?
Oh, yes.
Like, they're not happy about that,
God,
right?
Yes.
I agree with you. Like,
it's time.
It's 2025.
It's time. Like, if you have no problem with them wearing huge chains and earrings, like, let them grow a little bit of facial hair. Like, Eric Grubner in a Yankee uniform would look phenomenal. That's what they're looking for. The Eric Grubner well-groomed beard.
I think this is undoubtedly the correct decision for the New York Yankees, but if I'm a player, I'm annoyed that Hal couldn't have done this a few days ago because I just showed up to camp and I had to shave my off-season.
It'll grow back.
It will, but now I have to go through the entire
take your headshots,
awkward grow back process over the first, the entire spring training until I can get it to my, my well-groomed length that I need to get it there. Whereas I could have just showed up at spring training with a well-groomed beard and we would have been good to go.
Yeah, and it's funny because they've added some guys. Like Devin Williams had to shave his beard. He looks way different. And, you never know what the final one is that puts it over the edge. But like I said, man, if Johnny Damon and Kevin Youkilis weren't enough to make them go, oh, God, no, grow beards. Like, please grow beards. And I don't know what would be. But no, I thought, again, this doesn't. I'm seeing people like, oh, Yanks are going downhill. No, it's a smart move, man. This is a smart move.
You do open yourself up a little bit to who gets to decide what's well-groomed and what's not well-groomed, which could lead to some hard feelings at some point. You said his beard was okay, but mine is not groomed enough for you? Is it just Hal Steinbrenner who now has to, do inspection?
In high school, they used to do cup checks, so you can just do beard check in the locker room before a game. But I think
yes,
no,
yes,
trim it,
no,
trim it.
So it's a major change of policy.
It really is. And somebody said I'd rather them put the names on the back of their jerseys. Yeah, that's one that's out there, and I've always kind of liked that. Notre Dame does it too, so I've always kind of liked the hey, we're one unit. The name on the back isn't important as the name on the front. All that I like that symbolism. It's fine with me. I also don't care if your name's on it. It doesn't bother me.
They should go back to having your number be whatever position you're at. So the pitcher
did they used to do that?
All baseball did, I think.
I did not know that.
Pitcher was 1, catcher was 2.
I didn't know that.
Baseman were 3.
Well, 1 through 9 there is retired. So you couldn't do that there. But I think, man, at this time, like you saw, like think about the Red Sox and their cowboy up and all that stuff. Like they let them be themselves and it worked out pretty well for them, man. They went out and they were themselves and they played and they won World Series. And but yeah, I think it was time to get this thing done. And I think there's a lot of Yankee fans that are really
it was
happy.
long overdue.
Yeah,
it wasn't
like
time.
Garrett
it was
Cole.
long
Garrett Cole,
overdue.
when he shaved, you're like, "Ah, you don't even look
It
mean
might have
anymore."
made some sense in the 70s and 80s when you're, you're coming off the 1960s. It's the counterculture. The
Yes.
Yankees are trying to
switch
do the
it.
opposite of that. They want to distance themselves from the hippies and the beatniks. They're the New York Yankees. And so it made some sense, at least, in that era that, hey, we're not doing that. We're looking for a different type of
Professionalism,
fan, whatever. Even if it really doesn't matter, you'll always take the player who's going to be a productive, good teammate over the one that's well-groomed.
I mean, look, it's like I told
you're an idiot.
It's like I told our boss, Michael, hey, man, when I go out to an appearance, you're going to get a better version of me if you just let me dress like I want to dress, right? And not have to wear a shiny 97.3 The Fan polo. I got your back. I'm going to represent the station well. But let me be me, and you're going to get a better version of me. And I think he acquiesced. He said, as long as somebody on the staff will wear one, and I've got you for that, Ben. You actually like wearing polos. I don't. It's not my look, So I don't like being forced to wear a uniform when I get to. You have a polo on right now, and that's an unforced polo.
Unforced polo. No one is requiring me to wear a polo.
Are you golfing?
I am.
He has shorts on again, and I'm looking right up his creamy thighs. Good Lord. I just looked over and saw.
I gotta bring a blanket in here.
Yeah. Will you cover your legs, please? A, I'm extremely jealous of your
Do
legs.
we have like a 97.3 blanket anywhere? We're
I'm
giving
gonna
those
start,
out.
you know what? We're about
beach
to
towel.
We're about to be the old New York Yankees in here. You can no longer wear shorts in this environment. Okay, you must be professional, and I need you to cover those creamy
Probably like the
white.
1970s White Sox, where they can wear shorts out on the field.
The ugliest thing I've ever. Not you. Them. The ugliest uniforms in history. So I think this is great. I think this is great for them.
All right, we got Padres baseball for you today. There is one thing that I am hoping to see, or not to see, from the San Diego Padres today, and that's what we saw yesterday with the LA Dodgers in their first game, and Bobby Miller taking a 105.5-mile-an-hour line drive right off the temple. And the good news for Bobby Miller, he appears to be okay, was able to walk off the field on his own power. He was placed into the MLB concussion protocol, but if you missed it, he tweeted last night.
What'd they say?
All okay.
106?
105.5. Right off the looked like right off the right temple where like the hat meets the head.
Oh my God,
above
man.
the ear. Oh, I mean, like the spot where your mom would say, "Yeah, don't get hit there because it's instant death
Yep.
if you get hit in the temple."
Remember
like
that? Was that a myth? Like
I think
quicksand?
I don't know. Yeah, I've heard that before though.
I
Hey,
definitely heard that
you
too.
take a line drive right there
You're
off
dead.
the temple, you're dead.
You will drop
you
dead.
will drop dead
Don't-
instantly.
If you get in a squabble or something, don't ever hit someone in the temple because you will kill them instantly.
I've heard that too, but I don't know if it's true or not true at all.
It's one of the scariest things to watch in baseball. The comebacker, even the low comebacker, the one that bangs off of somebody's ankle and squirts, 60 feet away. You're like, that ankle shattered. But one off the dome, and I don't, it's tough. Like I think it was a hanging curveball he threw, and you're a lot more reluctant to sling that pitch up there the next time the catcher calls for it. But Dodgers got bodied by the Cubs yesterday. By the way, Dodger fans that are reacting to my very clear joke on Twitter, I said cancel the parade with a question mark. That's a joke. I realize spring training games mean less than nothing. You guys, you're World Series champions now. You spend $1 gazillion a year. Relax. You've got the world is your oyster. Relax a little bit. You want me to read you a couple of these comments I got?
Sure.
I tweeted again, cancel the parade with a question mark, right? Very clear joke. I get roasted. Cancel the Padres. All right. Not very original, as usual. Padres fans getting off on the Dodgers losing the first spring training game tells you all you need to know about Padres fans. Buddy, you got to relax a little bit.
That's all I need to know about.
That's all I need to know about you. Incredible.
So if you are acknowledging them that spring training games are completely meaningless, does that mean that no one should ever place a wager on a spring training game?
Now, that's a different story altogether.
Is it a sign that perhaps you have
Not
a bit of a problem?
not again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You bet on that game.
Oh, yeah. The Cubs were plus 140. The Dodgers aren't taking this seriously right now. The guy.
All right, so you had a rationale.
Yes, there are guys out there getting work.
And you won. I take it.
Yes. Won $140.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
All right, you know what? When you put it that way, if you can ever get good odds on a spring training
Great
game,
odds.
There's no reason. It really is a toss. It's basically like betting a coin flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heads or tails.
Yeah.
Who's
Who's
there's no better team or worse team in spring training.
No, because they're throwing
You have no
in,
idea who's going to play in the
No,
game.
they're throwing in 14 pitchers, and you're
If
like,
they're down 2 in the ninth, like Ohtani's not pinch hitting to
Correct.
get that game-winning home run.
exactly.
Yeah, it's essentially a 50-50 proposition.
yeah.
And if you can get better than 50-50 odds, it's
not
a bad
bad.
bet. It's not a bad
yeah.
bet.
I saw plus 140, and I went, oh, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I think you've done this before. And
I have.
I'm sure we've had this. It's mind-boggling to me that you can even bet on a spring training game like that. That it's even offered.
Like me, or that it's offered.
yeah,
um,
like it's available. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And I will do it again today. Then probably tomorrow. And the day after that. I love baseball. I love gambling on baseball. I'm like Pete Rose. And, well, Ippei Mizuhara.
Also saw the first implementation of the ABS challenge system during the game yesterday. Very first inning, I think. Cody Poteet, the pitcher, threw a pitch. It was called a ball. He immediately tapped his head, and he was right. It was a strike. It got overturned. And you know what? There's only one thing, I think, that bothers me now about the challenge system that they're testing. It's that they're not doing it this season. They've already said they're not implementing it until 2026.
That is the bummer.
We're
of
like
it.
one day in, and I'm going, this works. This works. Just implement it. Don't make us wait now an entire year to put it into regular season games. It seems fun. It seems effective. Let's get it going right now. Well, you know, is there any way that Rob Manfred can change that decision and accelerate the timeline for implementation? Because I'm one day in, and I'm already
all in.
I'm already thinking that this is a good idea.
I think if the Yankees can relax their facial hair policy, it only took them 50 some odd years, Ben. I think that Rob Manfred can do whatever he wants. And yeah, I'm with you. I think it's great, and it seemingly really fast and kind of fun, and adds a little bit of spice to a game that a lot of people think need a little bit more spice. I think it's really
yeah,
cool.
I think it's better than going the full just robot umpire. I mean, it kind of straddles the line between the human element, but also being able to correct important calls, just like instant replay did. And ultimately, as much as you hate it, Rob Manfred has made some good changes to baseball in the last couple of years.
No question.
The pitch clock has been effective and has served its purpose. It makes the game just more enjoyable to watch when you go to a game or watching on television. And I think this challenge system is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. The Aztecs got some really good news last night, as reported in the UT. We will talk a little bit of college basketball before the top of the hour, right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Crash has cleared on north on side of the 805 before 43rd, so looking good there. In fact, we're kind of looking at Friday-like conditions for the most part. Keep in mind, though, we have got some fog around various parts of the county, and there could still be this stalled car on the coastline southbound 5 Encinitas Boulevard. Could still be in the center divide, so just take it extra carefully there. Move over a lane if it's safe to do so. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So they were Aztecs when they started the season were expecting to get their best returning player, Reese Waters, hopefully back within the first 6 weeks or so, sometime in December, and have him for the bulk of the season and the conference play and into the tournament. Unfortunately, the stress fracture in his foot was healing a bit slower. They kept pushing back the timeline, but finally yesterday, and according to Mark Ziegler here in the UT, Reese Waters has been medically cleared for return 4 months after his initial diagnosis. But as you can imagine, if he plays now, he burns his entire season of eligibility.
Right.
And there's only 5 games left in the regular season, and plus, any tournament. So he has announced that he will be redshirting this year, but he has already said he is coming back to San Diego State next year. Didn't add any more, but doesn't plan to look at the transfer portal or NIL. He wants to come back and play at San Diego State next year, which gives the Aztecs a huge boost coming back next year.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Like, he was waiting to get medically cleared and could have, meaning he could have come back and played tomorrow.
Yeah.
And played, 3 more games in a Mountain West tournament and maybe...
but it would have taken him a while to really get up to full speed and everything. You wouldn't have had a fully effective Reese Waters at all, probably, this season.
And let me just take the other side, because it's a sports radio show. I love Reese. I'm so happy to see this news. He's my favorite Aztec, right?
We missed him this year.
Right, big time. Are there people out there going, if you're medically cleared, I mean, we're trying to win a mountain, trying to win a conference and trying to win a tournament. If you're medically cleared, you should go?
It's a good question.
I just don't think so.
I don't feel that way at all. Not even a little bit.
I think even if that's what he wanted to do, I don't think Dutch would stop him. It's
Correct.
his choice. It's his life. But I don't even know that Dutch would play him that much. You have your rotations all set. I don't know that throwing him into the mix makes you better at this moment.
Yeah, it's the same Joe Musgrove convo we had earlier in the week.
There's so many freshmen and new players on this team that he's never actually played with before.
Right.
The adjustment period alone would take a few weeks. So I think this is the smart decision. It's the good decision. And it also reminds you that of what a great job Dutch has done this season. I know that there's been better San Diego State teams in regular seasons, but this team had talent coming in, but they were going to count on Reese Waters. He was the only preseason all-conference selection. He was the highest returning scorer on the team. They were going to rely on Reese Waters this season to kind of bridge the gap. And then they didn't have him.
So they had to figure it out.
It could have easily fallen apart, and you wouldn't have blamed Dutch and gone, well, all right, you have a hugely young team, and you lost the one experienced guy you were counting on. Yeah, this is probably going to be a down year for San Diego State, and it really hasn't. I mean,
you're right.
They are still in position to make the NCAA tournament. Yeah, there's been some ups and downs, as you'd expect with a young team, but to overcome that loss and still be where they are right now is pretty incredible when you think about it.
And the other incredible thing, and we were texting about it last night when the news came down, you're gonna let yourself dream on next season's Aztecs right now.
Already.
I mean, you're gonna look now. Again, I hope I'm not speaking out of school here, but I got a text from a friend of a friend that has said that Miles Bird absolutely loves playing here. Now, again, I realize that money talks. I realize that
SDSU insider over here.
Yeah, no kidding, right? That knows people that know him very well. He really likes playing here and wants to be here. And now again, you say that, and Reese said it yesterday. I plan on coming back. If he didn't, you can't be surprised. If something happens where somebody gives you an offer you can't refuse or whatever, plans do change. But as of now, you let yourself dream on Miles Bird, Reese Waters, Magoon Gwath with a year of really good basketball under, and you go, dude, who's beating this team?
So good that NBA teams are going, we got to take this guy. I mean,
that's my biggest concern.
We got to take him.
About Bird?
About Gwath.
Gwath.
Magoon,
yeah.
I think he's the one that is probably increased his stock the most this year.
I don't know if he's got first rounder on him yet.
Not yet, which means maybe he wants to come back another year.
But can you not see a team like using a second round pick on him and thinking we can develop him? Yeah. Oh yeah,
put him in the G League for a year or so.
And I was talking to some buddies about that a little bit closer to the Aztecs than I am, and they were just saying like, well, we do have the red shirt kid, Thakbor
Majak,
Majak, who's like,
oh, God, what a name! It's
even
a
taller.
Thakbor Majak.
Yeah.
Aztecs are an all-name team.
That's the best.
Yeah.
The best.
He's supposed to be the real deal. He's a 7-footer.
Thakbor, what is it? Majak?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Like Pat Sajak, but Majak.
I got it. I know how to rhyme. I'm in. I just like the name
like Hayjack,
Thakbor.
but Majak.
Like Bajak.
Yeah, he's the one who
Except
grew up
it's Majak.
First 8 years of his life in completely like rural Sudan.
It's unbelievable.
No electricity, running water, or anything. Found him tall.
Just a basketball and a hoop.
Moved to Phoenix. He was part of like the NBA, what do they call it? NBA Academy, I think, in Senegal. and he's supposed to be the real deal. And I'm like, okay, well, if Magoon decides to go to the draft and gets drafted, that's great.
Yeah,
We got to
start over
replace
a little bit though.
Can you imagine both of them?
Correct. The Twin Towers.
Listen, you can let yourself dream on that, and Reese saying he's coming back is a big part of that.
And 8 straight win last night for UCSD, and they've all been by double digits, 81-67 over Cal Poly, and UC Irvine lost. So the Tritons alone in first place and trending toward the NCAA tournament themselves. So college basketball, mostly good news here in San Diego. All right, big news from Major League Baseball and ESPN yesterday. Get to that coming up next on The Fan. Hour number 2, Ben and Woods. We have Rob Bradford, the host of the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, joining us at 7:35, and perhaps a surprise guest a little bit after that as well.
Oh,
stay tuned.
In studio.
I mean, I've been told they are planning on leaving their house shortly.
They're up.
They are awake.
They did ask for coffee.
I said, I think we have coffee.
I think there's a machine over there.
I
I have
there
half
is a
of my
machine.
McDonald's iced coffee left.
You could offer.
They're welcome to it if they.
I texted them back. I said, there is a machine in the kitchen. I've been told that it works.
I have a real hard time using it. Should come as a surprise to no one. It's new. It's newfangled. It's not. Remember, I told you the other day I don't know how to use like a Mr. Coffee. This one's even harder. So I think I might be able to try to figure it out for him.
I could
but
order
there's no one
off
else.
of an app somewhere.
Yeah, you can do
and,
that.
You know, maybe we can get a tier 1 to pick it up and bring it to our guests.
All right, I don't want to turn our tier 1s into the help
Gophers,
this morning.
That's true. That's
right.
fine. He can pick it up on the way.
Where's Adam?
That's Adam.
Oh,
Ben.
where
Where's
is Adam?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
No.
Could ask him
Work at home Fridays. Not going to be here.
And Mondays, right?
Mondays too.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how great would that be to just roll out of bed on Monday and just do the show from home and then same on Friday? Pretty solid.
So I just pray. Oh, sorry.
I'm just laughing.
I just praised Rob Manfred for all the good, positive changes to baseball. Yet I'm reading a piece right now from The Athletic and Andrew Marchand, who says he may have just committed sports business malpractice with what went down yesterday.
You're joking.
No. He said, well, it wasn't totally his choice, but ESPN yesterday informed Major League Baseball that it was opting out of the final, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 years of their contract.
Three.
I think it's 3. They have 1 year left. This year is now going to be the last year of ESPN's $550 million per season with contract with Major League Baseball. What do they get for that? Mostly they get the Sunday Night Baseball exclusive window, and they get to broadcast the wild card round series games, and they've got the home run derby, the All-Star Monday festivities. Those are the main 3 things that ESPN gets for its $550 million a year.
It's also the only thing ESPN chooses to do. I think when you paint it that way, it's like, oh, this is all we're getting for our $550. ESPN has pushed baseball to the back burner for many, many years now. They canceled baseball tonight. You know what I mean? Like they don't prioritize the game of baseball, and I think that was this. I looked at this yesterday as a massive win for Rob Manfred. I read his statement and I went, dude, yes. I'm all in on this.
I think they're trying to couch it as an opportunity for Major League Baseball. The problem is, how are they going to make up $550 million per year?
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. Who's going to pay anywhere near that for a similar rights package? Because in recent years, and this is what Andrew Marchand points out, they have sold for $10 million a streaming package to Roku. $10 million for an entire year. Now, I don't know how many games Roku gets for that, but ESPN looks at that and goes, why are we paying $550 million when you're giving it to someone else
for 10?
For 10. That's insane. I want to renegotiate our deal. And ESPN said, we'll be happy to renegotiate, but we're not, if you're giving this stuff away for $10 million, we're not paying $550 million for it anymore.
So let's parse this out a little bit.
To not even be like the main network.
Fox is still the main baseball.
Fox gets the World Series.
Broadcaster that gets the World Series.
So let's parse it out a little bit. Manfred said, the statement said, and I liked this statement because I really, when I read it, I agreed with it. He says, we've had a long and mutually beneficial partnership with ESPN, dates back to its first Major League Baseball game in 1990. Unfortunately, in recent years, we have seen ESPN scale back their baseball coverage and investment in a way that's not consistent with the sport's appeal or performance on their platform. Given that MLB provides strong viewership, valuable demographics, and the exclusive right to cover unique events like the Home Run Derby, ESPN's demand to reduce rights fees is simply unacceptable. As a result, we've mutually agreed to terminate our agreement. Would Rob Manfred quit a job without having a job? This is essentially what it boils down to.
So he says he's got a couple of options.
A couple of irons in the fire?
Yeah, we'll see. Andrew Marchand seemed skeptical. I don't know that argument carries a lot of weight, though, that ESPN, you said, they don't do baseball tonight anymore, which is true. But other than the MLB Network, which is owned by Major League Baseball, where else do you get baseball news? I mean, they still have Jeff Passan. They still have Jesse Rogers. They still devote quite a bit of resources to baseball coverage.
You're making my point for me. Use those guys more than you're using them now.
But they do. I mean, I see stuff from Jeff Passan every day. I see him
he jumps
on SportsCenter every day.
He jumps on First Take every now and then. Like, give Jeff Passan and Jesse
where
Rogers.
Are you getting more than you're getting on ESPN? There's nowhere else.
Right. I was going to say, like, Fox is MLB's biggest partner.
They show the games. Do you watch any other Fox baseball
if you go
coverage
to
other than
FS1,
games?
Fox Sports, and
I
any of the talk
I watch
shows,
FS1.
What?
The
Undisputed or any of those shows, they never talk baseball.
They never
don't
talk
have
baseball.
Nothing. They don't bring in Ken Rosenthal to talk with Skip Bayless about.
Other than during the games, I never see Ken Rosenthal.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not missing.
Exactly.
No,
but you see Passan on his network's shows.
Yeah, he's
talking
on
baseball.
He jumps on McAfee. He jumps on First Take.
Rosenthal doesn't jump on Fox Sports stuff. He does internet shows.
Yeah, I guess you're right. on
Athletic.
that. I mean,
Apple TV has bought some rights as well. Do you watch a lot of baseball coverage on Apple TV outside of the games?
do they have
none?
any?
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
That's true.
I don't know.
But okay, so if you're Rob Manfred though, and you look at it and you're like, you guys aren't. That's a lot.
I think it's more telling that I think this is a bad sign for baseball.
Yes.
That baseball is not worth ESPN's money anymore.
Or their time.
And effort.
I guarantee you, if ESPN thought baseball coverage was bringing in huge eyeballs and advertising revenue, they'd be doing more baseball coverage. The reason why they do less baseball coverage than football coverage is simply their football coverage draws more audience.
Yeah.
They're just being smart business people.
They're going to spend 100 times on the SEC network what they would pay for baseball because as much as we hate it and don't care about it out here, maybe
it works.
It's what works.
It's what works.
And
man, so I don't know. I like when I read the initial.
I think it's more of an indictment on baseball than on ESPN.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh no, is that actual malpractice?
Well, and what he doesn't address here, and I do think is an opportunity, and we have talked about it, is the game needs a media restructuring.
Yes.
We've talked about that a lot this offseason, where the local media deals for the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets just put the entire league at a competitive imbalance. And one way they were going to do that was with rights fees. Now, the Fox one is still going for a few more years, so you're not going to be able to change everything. But this is the first step, perhaps, toward a more balanced model where you can come up with deals that lift up some of the teams that aren't spending enough on their rosters and hopefully rein in some of the teams that are spending a little too much on their rosters, if you know what I mean.
Interesting. Yeah. Walking away from 2-3 years left on their deal for that money. I guess you better have other irons.
Major League Baseball is not walking away. They're saying it's mutual, but ESPN is the one that's walking away. And they're walking away because they now no longer have to pay $1.65 billion over the next 3 years.
$550 a year?
$550 per season. So they have saved $1.65 billion with the stroke of a pen by opting out of this contract.
I just gave it to Pat McAfee, actually. Congratulations to the McAfee show.
They can still cover baseball as much as they want. ESPN, Major League Baseball is not going to stop ESPN. They still want ESPN to cover baseball. So they're happy if Jeff Passan is still going around and breaking stories and everything. In fact, they want that. They want as much of that as possible. But now they're not getting $550 million for it, at the same time. It's kind of a win for ESPN here. And they may still get back into it. Maybe they come up with a new deal, but they're only paying $300 million a year. And they're going, okay, well, we still get everything, but we save that much money. I mean, that's one of the possibilities. We'll see if Rob Manfred really does have good options to replace these rights fees payments.
How much is Fox paying?
More, I believe.
Where if ESPN's paying $550 and they're like the second tier network for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
You get one game a week, maybe a Wednesday night here and there, or ESPN Plus type games, but you get Sunday Night Baseball in the wild card round.
Jeez,
everything else, all the big games. There's the TBS games during the regular season, of course, part of Fox, and then there's that's Turner, totally separate. And then you got the World Series is on Fox. You're like, dude, ESPN's like, hey, we're paying this much money, we're not getting a whole lot out of this.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's people are in the chat talking about where they go to for baseball coverage, and I mean, very few of them are saying, I'm really going to miss ESPN's baseball coverage. There's a lot of,
Is there any
$4 billion over 8 years for Fox, so they're paying about $500 million a year as well. So
is
actually,
there any
less
traditional
than ESPN.
network though on television that you go to get your baseball news besides MLB Network? Because not really.
No,
they don't. Nobody's talking about it.
No, and even MLB Network is a tough watch sometimes.
Yeah,
Really
you go
is.
online, you go to podcasts.
Yeah. Listen to Ben and
Internet
Woods
shows.
right here on 97.3 The
Those
Fan.
guys they're okay.
Odyssey app.
We try to find the best of the best for the baseball coverage, and hopefully silence or mute a little bit the baseball coverage that we don't
It'll
think is
be
as
weird
good.
next year, though, if there's no Sunday night baseball. Even if you don't, I know people are ripping the broadcasters. They're okay. I like Carl Ravitch.
I
think
love
he does a good
Ravitch. I
job.
love David Cohn.
I think they do.
Love
yeah.
Boog.
Boog is phenomenal.
Boog Shambi
is
on the radio.
great.
Yeah, they're good. But, you said 1990 they've been partners?
Yeah.
I was born in 1990. My whole life has
Your whole
had
life.
Sunday night baseball,
nothing like
baseball
it.
tonight.
It's going to be weird. Yeah, it's going to be very odd to not see Sunday night. Somebody will have it. Somebody they'll find a way to do it. Guy says he gets all his sports news from Channel 10 and their superstar sports anchor.
Thank you, Guy.
Ben Higgins.
How much did he pay you for that, guy?
I will admit, you're probably when I do my 2 minutes, there are other things that you might be missing out on that I don't have time to get to.
That's
every
true.
night.
That's true.
It's okay if you want to expand your sports coverage
outside of yours
consumption.
Yeah, that's
outside
fine.
of me.
Okay.
So and Surfer's Rule all says John Boy is better than ESPN. Anything. There's more than
options.
ever. More options online for baseball coverage.
Chris Rose,
whatever you like.
Yeah, he's part
you
of
may
John
not
Boy.
like any of those guys.
Foul
but
territory.
Yeah,
fair
there's
territory.
Fair territory.
Between the lines, outside the lines,
Foul
in the
pole.
bleachers. Yeah,
Dugout.
In the dugout, on top of the dugout, the bullpen,
In the bleachers.
5.5 hole.
the arm barn,
The third base coach's box.
Yep, the backstop. Love it. There's a lot. The
The batter's eye with Ben and Woods.
You have a lot to choose from. The FTD podcast coming soon.
It's not about flowers.
Could literally retire. We could literally, if we had the stomach.
FTD podcast with Ben and Woods. It's extra sweet.
It's extra sweet. We could retire from the hate that we would get, but they would listen to every single episode.
If you're not following, TD stands for
The
the
Dodgers.
And you can just imagine, with Woods naming things, what F might stand for.
Frig.
Heck you!
Yeah, Frig the Dodgers. Can you imagine? Tell him. This is like
I think you're onto something.
This is a 6-figure a year.
This is the moment
Cash
to
cow.
capitalize.
I
Because
know.
It's not just here anymore. It's like
everywhere.
Everywhere's got that vibe right now of FTD.
Forget the Dodgers. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
CeeLo.
Yeah. Forget the Dodgers. Yeah, we could retire. I mean, we could buy a boat. I could buy if we did it
I don't
for
want to
a
buy
year.
a boat.
I could buy a
It's
boat.
The last thing I want to buy.
Me
don't want
too.
a boat.
I'm just saying, like, if we wanted,
Wouldn't matter. You'd be able to afford
if
it.
you
I could
wanted
afford
a,
it, I don't want one.
If you wanted a boat, you could get one.
Don't make me buy a boat.
I'm not going to make you buy a boat. I'm saying if you wanted a boat, we could do that.
All right, we've got Don't Do This is coming up next. Somehow, either with Do This or Don't Do This, we found some funny audio from our friend Jay Mohr.
This made me
yesterday.
laugh so hard, dude. One of the best stories you'll hear.
It was pretty good. First, though, let me tell you about Prize Picks as we head into the weekend. It's a great time to play Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy accessible to all with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks is fun and easy. All you have to do is set lineups with 2 to 6 players. You pick more or less on their stat projections, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Play it your way. Run your game with Prize Picks. And right now during basketball season, there's so many options in basketball. It's not just points. You can do points more or less, but you can do rebounds, assists, points plus rebounds plus assists, steals, turnovers, first quarter options, first half options. It's all there. They even have live plays now, whereas the game's going on. They'll change the projections, so if you get a feel, you're watching a game, you get a feel for the sense how it's going, you can set lineups then and there with Prize Picks. When you download the app at prizepicks.com, make sure you use the code KWFN to get your $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. So $5 from you, $50 from them. That's a great deal. 10 times your money right there by using the code KWFN at sign up at prizepicks.com. all the stars are there. Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic. He did not play last night, but that's okay. If your guy doesn't play, just erases your lineup square there because they have injury insurance as well. So it's Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. It's starting to look, Woods, like these famous super fans of teams. Remember Chiefs-aholic?
Oh, he's in prison.
He's in prison.
He's literally in federal penitentiary right now.
It may be going.
Remember his lawyer?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh God, he was great.
It may be going the same direction for Atlanta Falcons superfan Bird Lady. Have you ever heard of Bird Lady?
I have not. Adam probably has.
Bird Lady dresses, I'm sure Adam has, dresses up for games, has been a long-time season ticket holder. She's got these red wings, like this top hat she wears, very, noticeable. Atlanta, they've actually leaned into it. They've done, like billboards with her on it and, video in the stadium that includes her. So they've kind of embraced her. Her name's Carolyn Freeman. But Carolyn Freeman, apparently trying to capitalize on some of her notoriety,
that clout,
started kind of a business where she was offering tailgate packages for people who are coming to watch the games. She said, "Hey, we can set up all sorts of things. We get food and entertainment, set up TVs, get everything ready for your tailgate party. All you have to do is show up and it'll be good to go." So she sold a $14,000 tailgate party to a group of fans who then arrived on the prescribed date, and all they found were a couple of workers in kind of an area, but nothing was really there or set up.
No sandwiches, brisket
nothing,
or anything.
No TVs,
hot links,
nothing ready to go. And they tried to call her, and eventually they got a hold of her, and she said, "I'm just running late. I got pulled over. I'm on my way." They all left eventually. She says she got there. She's being sued and could be facing actually criminal charges. She's been charged in the state of Georgia, at least with one count, and they're looking into fraud for these business practices. She did an interview with ESPN, kind of a long, rambling interview where, she says, all these excuses. So she was tired. Something had happened the night before. She wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
But she's happy to make good. She showed pictures to the ESPN reporter of old moldy food. Here it was. I still have it.
I have it. I saved it for evidence.
I've saved the food here. I had the food ready to go, and if they want it, I'll still give it to them. I don't want the old moldy food anymore.
Has she done this before? Or is this she started a business? Maybe she was over her head.
Yeah, that's what her argument is basically. Just things conspired against her.
Because Chiefs-aholic was robbing banks.
Yes. Ultimately,
there was no gray area there.
Some things do happen, but you have to give back all the money.
Yeah.
I don't think she's giving back the money that she took from these people.
You cannot keep
that's
the cash.
fraud element of all of this. So, anyway,
Bird
Lady, maybe
she seems like a nice lady.
Chiefs-aholic.
I hope she's not a criminal. And
she seems a little kooky to me.
Well, you'd have to be to dress up like a bird for games. But listen, this is one where the audio really speaks for itself. Jay Mohr, friend of the program, love Jay Mohr. He's married to Jeannie Buss, who owns the Lakers. And Jay Mohr was he had a career on Saturday Night Live, albeit a very short one, but he was in the audience for SNL's 50th anniversary. Yep.
Yeah,
and he was on his podcast, and his co-hosts asked him about it. And this is the story that he told.
We got to hear about SNL 50.
Yes!
Greatest weekend of my life.
Really?
My goal is just to see Tracy Morgan with my wife and take a picture of my wife and Tracy Morgan. Mm-hmm. So my wife meets Tracy Morgan. I kiss Tracy on the cheek. He's like, "We come a long way from the Boston Comedy Club." And I go, "Tracy, this is my wife, Jeannie." And she goes, "You got to come out to L.A. and come to a Lakers game." He goes, "Are you a dancer?" And that was what she did. "You a dancer?"
Oh, that's
because I don't with the Lakers. LeBron couldn't play in New York.
No, Tracy. She owns the team.
She owns a team. Also,
You would dance?
pretty flattering to Jeannie Buss.
That's
you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
very
As a compliment, like,
you would have
could
to
be a
take
Laker
that as a.
girl.
I think you can go two ways. If you're the
And
owner, you're
Jeannie's
like,
what in like her 60s.
yeah,
so,
you're like,
yeah.
no, I'm the owner. I mean, you would dance is amazing. It is so Tracy Morgan. When he sits right here in this chair and starts launching into Tracy Morgan and Christopher Walken, it's the best feeling of all time. He's such a good dude.
You got to come out to L.A. and come to a Lakers game. He goes, "Are you a dancer?"
It's brilliant. I think the don't do this goes to
Is there also
to Tracy Morgan.
Is there also a don't do this and thinking, well, Jay Mohr must just all he can find is a dancer out in
Right,
LA.
yes, yeah, exactly. Oh, of course you're with
there's
some
no
Lakers
way
girl.
You're with the owner of the
Right.
Lakers, Jay Mohr.
Look, when it happened, we all were like, "What?" But I mean, they have a great
We had
relationship.
Jay Mohr here in studio
Yes,
talking about it.
and
he also kind of
We went to commercial break, and she called him.
Yes.
She's like, "Hey, baby, I'm doing this radio thing."
It's incredible.
Oh my god!
So you would dance. I love it. I love it. Don't do this for Tracy Morgan, but do this for making us laugh.
All right, finally, the do this for today.
DD mega doo-doo.
I think we always like these stories. So
I do.
Superstar signs a big free agent contract with his new team, making hundreds of millions of dollars. But someone else is already wearing his long-established number.
Score.
Someone who's not nearly as famous. It's like a scratch-off lottery ticket if you're in Major League Baseball. And I'm sure the first thing Brett Beatty, number 22 on the New York Mets, thought when Juan Soto signed his $765 million
Was anybody
deal
rooting for Juan Soto to the Mets more than
Brett
Brett
Beatty?
Beatty, knowing
Please God,
he's
please
number
God.
22?
All I have
God.
to do is give up.
I am
number
about to hit the
22.
freaking
Yeah,
lottery.
about to hit the jackpot.
And he did. He did. Juan Soto came through as, probably should. Juan Soto, in exchange for the number 22, purchased for Brett Beatty a $92,000 Chevy Tahoe, his dream vehicle. And
Yep.
they took a video here of Juan presenting him with the car yesterday at Port St. Lucie, Florida at Met Spring Training. Black.
So that's his dream car, right?
Very
Yeah,
nice.
he
It was
said
his dream car.
Juan, so Beatty had driven a 4Runner for about 178,000 miles. He said, she's on her last leg, and Juan Soto went and asked around. He said he actually went and did some research because it's the internet. You see people saying $760 million. All you can do is buy him a $92,000 car.
Oh, come on.
Right?
That's really nice for a number.
Right, for a number,
Right.
and he buys him that, and he had asked around, and he found out, that's his dream car, so he bought him one, and he was so stoked. Well, I mean, he's young. He's a young
Brett Beatty
kid.
was pretty happy.
Yeah, he's very, very happy, and Soto was very happy to get 22 back, so I love that story.
Let's
But yeah,
be honest, $92,000 is now a drop in the
Oh,
bucket
yeah.
for Juan Soto.
that's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he could eat a $90,000 sandwich every day for the rest of his life. I think they said he makes. I think somebody did the math. He said he makes $140,000 a day. So that's pretty good.
All right, you don't want to be spending $90,000 on a sandwich every day if you're making $140. You only have $50,000
left to play
every
with
day.
every single
Every
day.
day. Yeah.
Man, that's great. That's a good story. And Brett Beatty, you can see he walked out, and then he does the jog over. He's so excited to get the whip.
Like a Price is Right contestant
from
coming
Soto.
on down.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a brand new car.
Somebody asked in the chat, what did Will actually get from Blake Snell for number 4?
I don't know if they ever revealed it.
They never did.
He
They never
teased
did.
us. Yeah, he never
would
All
say it.
Keep that in the back burner. We'll talk to Will Myers at some point, and we need to get that.
Will we?
Will we?
What makes you think
The
that?
next time we
He
talk,
will be back in town to throw. He said he would throw a first pitch.
the next time we talk to Will Myers will be the first time.
That's true.
I asked him to come on at spring training one time in the parking lot, and he said no. I'm good. I'm good on it.
You don't think we'll ever talk to Will Myers?
No. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good with
I
it.
think it's more likely we talk to Eric Hosmer than
Really?
Will Myers, and I don't think that's happening.
That will
either.
also be the first time.
And that's
Yes.
don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, it is the first day of Cactus League play across the board, including for your San Diego Padres. We will talk The start of the spring training season with Rob Bradford, the host of the Baseball Isn't Boring Odyssey podcast, coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
One more time, though, this week, a reminder that to head down to 7 Mile Casino, all you have to do is hop on the 5 freeway. If you're downtown, literally takes 7 minutes. We have timed it. That's why they named it 7 Mile Casino. You drive right on down to Chula Vista. You get off the freeway. Stay on the west side of the 5. There's really only like a narrow strip of land between the bay and the freeway, and that's where 7 Mile Casino is. It's right in between the two, right there on San Diego Bay.
It is a great place to go play cards. It's a great place to go have lunch. A great place to go sit at the bar, grab a beer, watch a game. They got TVs in there. You're going to be really comfortable when you go. But the thing I love the most about it, I drive a lot around here and have driven out to the East County many times to go play baseball, and you think, man, somebody really drives all this way out here to go play cards when they could just go to 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
24/7 option. Food is available at all hours of the day on their 24/7 players menu, including my beloved Kung Pao chicken. It really is fantastic. The best you can find. Check it out this weekend anytime you want at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. hitting ninth.
The speedy Brandon Lockridge.
With, Ryan Berger. Ryan
Ryan.
Berger on the mound. I did it.
You did
With
it.
Just the last names. I managed to connect it all together. That gets hard in spring training.
It does.
You look at the names. Like you looked at Rosario right at.
Yeah, I was thinking Rosario. Oh, Eggy.
Oh, it's Eggy.
I think I was thinking of Eddie.
Eddie hit a home run yesterday.
Of course he did.
For the Dodgers,
Of course
right?
he
I
did.
didn't even know he was on the Dodgers.
They signed him 3 days ago. Comes in, hits a yak. I'm like, oh, of course.
Where'd he come from?
I know.
Has any chance to make that team?
How many players do they need?
I don't know.
God, it's crazy. They still have Michael Conforto. I mean, I keep forgetting all the guys that they signed this offseason.
It's it is not a great spot for like a non-roster guy to try to make.
Oh, it's almost
a team
impossible
because they are so deep. There really are no like open spots on that roster.
And also they're committed to guys like Chris Taylor. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't belong on the Dodgers anymore, but they're going to keep rolling
you
with
got
him.
Kike now
Right.
too. He's definitely got a bench spot for that team. Well, someone who loves talking baseball, does it on his Odyssey podcast, Baseball Isn't Boring, is our friend Rob Bradford, who we got to meet out at spring training, and we'll be heading out there next week for some Cactus League coverage. But Rob joins us right now here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Happy spring training to you, Rob.
Oh, my goodness. You know, the highlight of spring training is when I get to see you guys there. Hopefully, I'll be able to get out to Arizona once again. And because I tell you what, guys, Arizona is a whole lot better than Florida. I know nobody cares about this, but it is so much better. Oh, my goodness. And seeing you guys only makes it better, so I appreciate the time.
I've got a buddy that is an agent, and every year he's like, man, I booked my Arizona trip, just an absolute cakewalk. We can see 4 of our guys in like 3 hours. We get them all. He goes, Florida, we have like 7 guys there. He goes, it's just a month of driving, and it's just horrific. It's horrific.
Man. Yeah, I remember seeing you guys. I'm like, okay, I went to the Padres, talked to Bogarts, whatever, talked to these guys, and then, an hour later, I'm somewhere else, and an hour later, I'm somewhere else. You get 4 teams done. And now, in this morning, again, nobody cares, but this morning, I'm looking at, I got to wake up at 5:30 to drive an hour and a half up to Sarasota to talk to Charlie Morton. It's just, anyway, it doesn't matter because, like we said, the great game of baseball is about to be played, and there's plenty of stuff to talk about.
Well, that's exactly right, man. And I know you cover baseball, as a whole, but I know that there's a lot of Red Sox talk, and it's been an interesting couple of weeks in spring training for the Red Sox. Can you shed any light on what's going on? Because I'll be honest, man, like we've had a couple of these storylines going on at Padres camp the last couple of years with Xander being a guy that you mentioned. But, man, this is a kind of an odd one with the Rafi Devers and Alex Bregman situation. Has that evolved at all in the last couple of days?
Yeah. You brought up Xander, and I was thinking about that because obviously there's position changes that people ask. And what you're talking about with Rafael Devers is that when Bregman came in, they actually asked Rafael Devers, hey, would you mind if we move you to DH or first base? Because Bregman's an elite third baseman, it only makes sense. And Devers got up to this press conference. It just was like, it was so bizarre, guys. It was no. And that was his answer. Well, what are you going to do if they ask you to them? Just no. Okay. And I remember I immediately thought back to the Xander thing going to second base. And obviously he wasn't, I don't think, thrilled about it. But as somebody said to me, I never heard of a guy retiring after switching positions. There is a lot of times where guys are upset, and it takes them a while to get over that being upset, but ultimately they figure it out and they switch positions. Now, when it comes to Devers right now, we still don't have resolution. I mean, Bregman's one day he's at third, the next day he's at second. Rafael Devers is just going to get on the field next week. So it's not we know for sure Bregman's playing third or Rafael Devers is playing third. So it's going to draw out a little bit. But, I think the thing the Red Sox have going for them is that they do have Bregman, who is saying all the right things and doing all the right things, because if you didn't have that guy, it will only get worse.
That's an interesting point. Do you need everyone to say the right thing, or as long as one person is doing the right thing, it can kind of smooth everything over?
Yeah, well, and to add to another layer to it was the day after Devers, Tristan Casas gets up there, the first baseman,
it's unreal,
and says, I think Rafael Devers should play third. I think Alex Bregman should play second. Oh, and to top things off, I think all the top prospects, all these top 15 baseball prospects, they should not make the major league team. Like, okay. And we said we missed an enormous opportunity right there as media members. We could have asked him about anything. We could have asked him about, the politics, anything at all. And he would have answered it because he was just rattling off his opinions on everything. And that instance, that press conference for Alex Cora for the Red Sox, I can tell you was more uncomfortable than what Devers said because they didn't see that part of it coming.
Never take truth serum right before you get up in
of
front
course.
of the media.
Yeah, 100%. And I saw that and I went, my first initial reaction, as it usually is I go, oh no, what an idiot. And then I go, oh, you play first base. Why would you want Devers to move over to first base? Then you're the DH or something. They move you around. So, I heard people talking about it. And it is, man. Like, Devers is such a great player. And, yes, he improved a little bit on his defense. But when you have a guy like Bregman who is going to solidify third base for you, help your pitching staff immensely, he's a leader, he's a champion, all of that, you kind of have to make that move. But you also have this superstar that you have to keep happy. And, listen, knowing Boston a little bit as I do, I can't imagine some of the takes that I'm hearing on Boston sports radio right now.
I mean, listen, people were complaining about Alex. How dare you defer money to Alex Bregman? What took him so long? Like, there's nobody's happy, right? And what this did was something when the Red Sox teams were rolling and the Red Sox had all these superstars. We would always have stuff like that. We would call it the picnic table, even though it was the bench. Like, who was on the picnic table? Who said what at the picnic table? Oh, John Henry, the owner, said Pablo Sandoval's body fat was 19%.
Can relate. Can relate.
Yeah,
I can relate.
Yeah. And so, or we screwed up the John Lester negotiation, or David Ortiz saying something. We always had something like that. So I think for the Red Sox, they should be happy because it's getting them back in the conversation. Because honestly, and you can make the timeline when Xander left, it really, like, apathy had been creeping in, and they hadn't won any free agent battle. They were not perceived as the big boys anymore. And now at least they're getting these players and they're getting the conversation back.
Talking to Rob Bradford, host of the Odyssey podcast, Baseball Isn't Boring. And one of the big stories at spring training is the testing of the ABS strike system. And my hot take, Rob, is that what I hate is that we have to wait until 2026 for this to be implemented in the big leagues. I've seen it one day. I'm ready to go. Let's just put this in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, and you guys know this. Like, we've gone through enough rule changes and evolution of baseball where we usually get riled up and fired up, and then it happens, and then we're like, okay, that's not bad. Pitch clock obviously being the be-all, end-all when it comes to that. And I always use this example. I remember David Ortiz's last year. By the way, some of the rule changes, the initial rule changes are kind of stupid, but they tweaked them at least. They understood that they were stupid. I remember one was you can't take your foot out of the batter's box, right? They wanted to speed the game up that way. So David Ortiz gets up there, and he's told us. Now, he had no idea, but it was this guttural reaction to, hey, by the way, David, you know that you can't take your foot out of the batter's box. And he just goes off. He just goes off on this rule. And then by the end of the year, he said, you know what? It was the best thing for me. It made me think about the next pitch instead of the last one. And, yeah, baseball doesn't get it right all the time. And baseball, there's probably some tweaks that are going to have to happen in this case. But at the end of the day, I think that the evolution of baseball is exactly that. We have to sort of embrace it and accept it. And if it makes it better, why not lengthen in the game? Then so be it.
Talking to our pal Rob Bradford here on Ben and Woods this morning, host of the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. And you couldn't find three people that agree with you more. Baseball certainly is not boring. There's always a great storyline. But, every year we always say, man, the AL East is going to be nasty. And then sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. One thing we do know for sure is that the NL West is going to be, listen, we know who the favorite is, but, man, the battle for second place in the NL West is going to be something to watch. You got a sneaky team that you're looking at and going, you know what, I really like what these dudes have done this year, and I kind of like them, whether it's in any division.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I look at teams when I've been asked this question. I looked at teams in the AL Central. I looked at Detroit, and I looked at Cleveland's were not really a sneaky team. They made it to the LCS.
Yeah.
But then I looked at, and then the other team I said was the Diamondbacks. And I know maybe that's not fair, because when you spend that much money on Corbin Burns and you've already done it with Jordan Montgomery, you did it. I like what they have running over there. I've known Hazen and Lovella for a long time. They just got a great environment, and I think that they get the most out of those guys. And they're spending just enough money. But I look at it across the board. The NL West to me is fascinating. Yeah, sure. You have the Alpha and the Dodgers, but the one thing that we can't forget, the Padres. And I was talking with someone about this, I think yesterday. Let's not forget, because I think what came up was the Vlad stuff. I said, listen, they should absolutely just give the best offer. If he doesn't take it, then trade him. Because you know what, the Padres ended up with the perceived best team when the playoffs rolled around without Juan Soto. You can do this.
You can do it.
It can work.
Yep.
Right. Instead, you're trying to placate fans, and you're having press conferences, saying, please don't hate us. But, to come back to the Padres, I think that it's one of these teams where, we can't forget that. We can't forget that you ask any member of the Dodgers about what team that was the best team, maybe other than themselves, and they'll say to a man, it was the Padres, and that was just a few months ago.
It almost was annoying, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was like it felt like a pat on the head.
Just the parade of Dodgers who would come on Mookie's podcast and go, man, the Padres were the best
good.
team. We got lucky there.
It makes it worse.
So good.
But I'm telling you guys,
it's true.
I'm telling you guys, behind the scenes, I followed around the Dodgers because our co-owner played for the Dodgers, Joe Kelly, and behind the scenes, I mean, they were just in conversation saying, man, you know what? That was a team that, we had to get through. And once we got through them, we knew that every other team, and we all know now, thanks to Joe, the Yankees stunk.
Right.
So, but that was a common refrain from everybody. And again, I just think we can't forget that part of it.
Well, I know that's your guy, but will you just like a gentle kick in the shin to Joe Kelly from the Ben and Woods program, if you could? I don't like him going 97 at Tatis's head ever. And listen, I know who he is. He's very polarizing.
I get it. And listen, he did not. I don't know if you guys saw the podcast that we put out yesterday, but he did nothing to ingratiate himself with the Yankees fans once again, because I had read him. He's not on social media, so as a good employee, I read what Aaron Boone had said, which is basically it wasn't the Mookies and it wasn't the Shohei saying this, obviously ripping them, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, my 9-year-old travel team knows how to cover first. I know who doesn't know how to cover first.
I saw it. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, we want that from our baseball players. We want a little bit more unvarnished opinions. Joe Kelly's never been afraid of being unvarnished. But again, just a gentle kick in the shin would be great for Ben and Woods.
No, it's all good. It spices things up. I get it. Yeah, no, it's all good.
Rob, thanks for your time.
Thanks, brother.
Hopefully we'll run into you in Arizona. If not, we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I always enjoy it, and you guys do such a great job. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Rob.
Rob Bradford, host of the Baseball Isn't Boring Odyssey podcast. You can download it right there on the Odyssey app. We're going to check traffic, and I want to bring back something Rob said there at the end as well before the top of the hour here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This report is brought to you by Kearney Mesa Volkswagen. Visit KearneyMesaVolkswagen.com for more details. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is a stalled vehicle northbound side of the 805 right before University. This car is in the center divide. Also got a possible encampment fire west 54 before Highland. It's in the center divide. And tow truck is helping to clear a crash on Hamishaw Road right at the 94. Presidential savings continue at Kearney Mesa Volkswagen. Lease a new 2024 Tiguan S for just $269 per month. Experience German engineering at your veteran-owned dealership. Visit KearneyMesaVolkswagen.com for more details. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And this segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Wake up on the right side of breakfast with new banana French toast sticks for $3.49 from Jack in the Box. Crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and served with chocolate dipping sauce. This is what Jack means by so much more.
I don't know that I need chocolate dipping sauce with my breakfast,
yeah,
but Jack in the Box for fast food breakfast, pretty elite.
I like fluffy on the inside.
Fluffy on the inside.
It's like us.
We are a little
fluffy on the inside.
Are we crispy on the outside, though?
I can be.
Sometimes.
I can be a
I'm
little
not that
crispy. Yeah.
It's funny that Rob says something, and he puts it very simply, and we don't really look at it as Padres fans that way. We see an off season that until the last couple of weeks, players leaving, no one coming in, and the team not getting better in the off season. But Rob put it in a whole different way. He said at the end of last year, the Padres were on paper, agreed pretty much by everyone in baseball, as the best team on paper. Yes, they lost a couple of players, Jurickson, Tanner Scott, Ha-Seong Kim. Okay, so you're going from the very top. How far really did you drop? Now you've added Nick Pivetta, some other players. Aren't you still right among the top teams in baseball with the guys you're bringing back? I mean,
Vegas doesn't think so, but Vegas.
But why wouldn't they? Was Jurickson Profar? I get it. He had a great season, but did you really go from like the top team in baseball? Which again, this is not what we said. This is what everybody, including the Dodgers, Rob, other teams were saying. And you lose Jurickson is the main loss. Tanner Scott's big too, but did you really go from that to a mediocre team, or are you just right there, still below? Right, the Dodgers is one of the top teams in baseball.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, again, though, you also have to look at what the other teams did. And he brings up the Diamondbacks. That's a great one. I expect them to be very, very tough. I do. I expect them to be tough. Now, they lost some guys as well. Lost Christian Walker. He was a huge leader on that team and productive and all that. But you add a Corbin Burns and you get Corbin Carroll. If he gets off to a good start, unlike he did last year, yeah, man, they're a nasty team. They got a great manager. They got a great GM. And listen, it's going to be a battle.
Clearly, there's plenty of competition,
Sure.
no doubt about that. I just want to make sure we're putting the Padres in the right tier of where we're talking about them, not as some plucky underdog that has no chance, but as one of the top teams in baseball that has some serious competition that they're going to have to get through this year.
100%.
All right, we'll come back. More Ben and Woods on the way, including perhaps the special guest that we teased.
Mamacita.
On 97.3 The Fan. Don't go anywhere.
I mean, amazingly, we are halfway home on a Friday. This has flown by today, having a lot of fun. We've got a Padres lineup out today. In case you missed it, it's all over social media, and going to be fun, man, to get this thing started. Jesse Agler, Paulie just told us, had a really good message in this group that he runs.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this yet.
I don't get how it works.
It's on Instagram, and
Right.
it's like a group chat. It's like a new feature on Instagram. I've seen like Sammy Levitt posting stuff in there, and so I joined this group. There's 41,000 members, but it's mostly, I think Jesse runs the majority of it. And he just posted 5 minutes ago, happy baseball. The Padres are scheduled to play 195 games in the next 219 days, and it all begins today.
195 games. In how many days?
219.
19. That's 33 Cactus League games, and then, of course, 162 regular season games.
All right, do the math for me quickly. How many off days?
24.
Okay. What are we going to do for those 24 days? That's where my mind goes.
What
At
the
some
hell
point,
are
you
we
need
going
a
to
break.
talk about?
Huh?
At some point, you do need a break.
I don't know that I do.
I mean, 4 of that is the All-Star break, so it's 20 outside the All-Star break.
Yeah.
It's a lot of games.
It's a lot.
Not a lot of breaks.
Not a lot of break. I'm happy with it, man. I think it's great. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Our special guest is stuck in traffic.
I think we can. I mean, he's on his way.
He's on his way.
I think we can tell everybody who's coming in. We were talking this week about the San Diego
Call right now.
San Diego FC. All right. It sounds like Paulie's going to go pick up our special guest. So, San Diego FC going to open their franchise history, their inaugural game this Sunday at the Los Angeles Galaxy, and we're all open and excited about becoming SDFC fans. But at the same time, we are not hugely versed in, especially like MLS soccer. Like, what do we need to know? What's the most important takeaways here as we get ready to start the first season? I mean, I've heard of Chucky Lozano and a couple of the players, but are they going to be able to compete? What's going on? What should we be watching for when this season starts? So we needed someone, let's be honest, who knows a little bit more about soccer than we do to help us, and, by transition, hopefully helping the tier ones as well, who are, in the same boat as us. I'm not saying soccer 101. I don't need someone to explain offsides rules. I know how the game generally works, but I would like to advance my appreciation and understanding specifically of Major League Soccer to a higher level. We know someone in town who's a pretty good soccer guy.
Guy's also a pretty good baseball guy.
He is a good baseball guy.
And
as
it's
well.
baseball season as well.
friend-
He's also making the rounds like a madman. And I figure while he's making the rounds, let's just get him in studio.
So our friend Darren Smith is on his
Smith
way
is
up.
here,
Paulie
yes,
is going
he's
down
on
the
his way
elevator to
up.
get him. So he should be up
Excited.
in just a couple of minutes here to talk a little SDFC, start a Padres season as well, and we can just catch you up with him. I think he can be here for another 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So I'll have Darren in studio.
Now, Dominic just ruined it for me. He said, Alex Morgan? Yeah, I would have liked that.
That would have been good, too.
That would have been nice.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe surprise. Darren may have a guest with him.
Alex Morgan.
Don't
maybe.
know.
No, I doubt that happens. But, yeah, D. Smith going to come in, shoot the breeze with us for a while, talk a little baseball, talk a little SDFC. And, listen, can I tell you something funny? And probably not funny. Remember how I might have made a big stink about us not getting jerseys and whatnot, and feeling part of the SDFC crew, right? When they came in at the Christmas and holiday extravaganza, and they brought us our own custom jerseys. Now you got one too. Have you tried to put that thing on yet?
No, my wife stole it immediately.
Immediately, that's true. I remember that. I tried my jersey on this morning. I was going to wear it today, and it's skin tight. And I mean skin tight. Now, I've actually lost weight since Christmas.
Have you seen soccer players?
I have.
There's not a husky. There's no such thing as a husky soccer player.
So I tried to put it on this morning, and it was like painted on. And I went, all right, well, I'm not doing that today.
They don't have offensive linemen.
No,
They don't
no.
have burly first basemen.
Darren Smith joins the program. Good morning, D. Smith.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
Is the microphone on?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're on.
We can hear
Sorry,
you.
it's my first time in here.
I guess that's right.
Yeah, the house that Big Sills
Have you
built.
forgotten how to? You haven't forgotten how to do radio, have you?
Kinda, yeah. On-off buttons and
All right.
headphone volume, all that sort of stuff.
Who's the huskiest soccer player? And are they huskier than me?
What's the stat? How many miles does a soccer player run in a match?
Like 10, 12.
In a match,
yeah,
All
for
the
sure. Yeah,
running.
that's why when sometimes you see soccer players at the end of a match and, they do the jersey exchange and things, people go, hey, like, what's that? Are they wearing bras? Right? Because
they have that thing.
There's the telemetry. So,
Yes.
so they sort of track where you are, what your speed is, right? And so it's all just modern information trying to figure out, like is a guy getting tired? How many minutes should he play? All that sort of stuff. Well, yeah, but it's more than I will run for the rest of my life.
No question.
What these guys will run in a single match. And I can promise you that. Like, I'm not a runner. But these guys, it's ridiculous how much physical stamina they have to do that.
It truly is. And I mean, bro, I watched my 7-year-old play, and I'm like, that's a lot of running for a 7-year-old. The fields are big. They run nonstop. They never get tired because they're 7. And I think about these grown-ass men out there. And not only that, I mean, it gets physical. And we're all excited about it. Again, I tried the jersey on this morning. It did not look good. It did not look good.
I know. I'm with you. Dude, I'm 52 now. And, I'm at that stage where I don't know that jerseys look great on me either. And I kind of stand in the mirror and I look and, my nipples are out.
Yeah, dude. Very tight.
I don't know. I love the way they look. I just don't love the way they
Woods
look on
has very
me.
sharp nipples as well. It's a feature.
I was worried, too. I was worried about that because I know there's, a camera quality
There,
on the
yes,
show. So I was maybe they keep it cold in there or whatever. So
I know,
I'm
man.
very
So you
sensitive
went
to
with
that.
white.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I got a T-shirt on under it.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I figured there wouldn't be any water tossing around.
I'm wearing actually one of those bras that the soccer players wear right now
Just to monitor heart rate during a 4-hour radio show. Yeah.
All right, man.
No, just for bosom support.
No, it's bosom support. Yeah, I don't like getting hit in the chin when I run. Man, so you've been making the rounds. I mean, you've been doing a lot of podcasts and things like that. That's fun. You having fun with that?
I am. I mean, I think it's
you can
good
curse at least, which is great.
I do like cursing.
I do too. So
I do
much.
like cursing. I did get a reminder to not cuss here today.
Yeah, that's true.
That was good advice. So thank you, Corey Stewart, for sending me that text message as I was in the elevator today. Said, remember, you can't cuss on this show.
Yeah,
now.
true.
It's been a minute since you've been on radio. So that was good advice. Yeah, I mean, I just like dusting off the vocal cords, and it's the time of the year where, you have spring training, and here comes SDFC. And San Diego State basketball is always interesting,
It's a
right?
good one,
Especially now that it's February and it's March and there's good storylines there. So, I have things that I'd like to talk about, and it's just been a good outlet for me to be able to, just to chatter a little bit with John and others.
Yeah, so Darren obviously really involved with San Diego Loyal when they were here, and SDFC is here now. You're a Premier League guy too. You like all of them. I mean, is there a soccer league that you don't like?
Is there a soccer league that I mean, you sort of are generally aware of it. It's a hard sport to follow because
It is.
There's so many different leagues. Like my wife and I always talk about this because she's in the wine business. So there's so many. There's California wine, there's Oregon wine, there's Washington wine, there's wine from France, there's wine from Spain, from Italy, from right. So you can. How do you ever master all that? And the same goes for soccer, right? There's the domestic league. We have Club Tijuana, we have Cholos. I'm a Barcelona fan, so I follow a lot of Spanish soccer. And there's the Premier League is obviously probably the most popular sport or league in the world. So I don't follow a ton of Italian soccer or German soccer, and truthfully MLS I'm really sort of taking a crash course on.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's what I was leading is
yeah.
the quality, the differences.
Yeah, because when MLS started, everyone knew worldwide it was kind of a joke in terms of quality, but it's come up now 30 years
This
of
is the
the
30th year.
MLS.
Yeah.
It's not Premier League, obviously,
Right.
but it's definitely risen in quality over those 3 decades.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And there's it's starting to evolve in ways, I think, where it was doing what it had to do to try to attract any eyeballs when it first started back in 1996. So, they were doing whatever they had to do. That's why David Beckham coming over was such a big deal, even though he sort of did you guys see the documentary?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I really want to do this. But, and these guys are a bunch of turds. Why am I playing in this league anyway? But like now they're starting to to bring in younger players. So, there's a lot of younger players coming over from South America and Central America, and you're getting players maybe not exactly in their prime, like Chucky Lozano is a great example of this. But he's in the prime
a little
window,
closer to the prime.
Yeah, he's in the prime window of his
Messi's
career.
Still good. He's not Messi, but he's still good.
He's totally different.
For
planet.
somebody like me, like the most casual of casuals, I know MLS for years. I was associating it with David Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that Messi's playing in Miami. Like, those are the names that at least most people will recognize.
Right. But, with that came a little bit of a reputation that it was a retirement league. So, then it, you sort of had to fight against that. Like, it's just like all these aged out superstars from Europe who don't really have a place to go, and they want to go live someplace that's stress-free, where they don't have to deal with the stresses of being on a, Real Madrid, Manchester United type environment, right, where the press is killing you all the time and all that sort of stuff. So, now like it's different. It's younger. You're starting to see this league, start to take younger players, sell them off to bigger leagues for a lot of money. And you're seeing players like Chucky Lozano starting to come over to MLS. So, it takes time. Progress, I know we all love everything to be
ASAP.
Right.
Yeah.
Progress is measured in like years and decades often in sports. So, I do think it's getting better all the time. The quality's getting better all the time. And finally, San Diego has a team to call its own. I mean, this has been 30 years in the making, right? I mean, people wanted a team here for 30 years. And, finally on Sunday, they get one.
Darren, you remember in radio a thing called clock integrity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got to take a quick time out.
Okay.
We will get back to Darren Smith, though. We'll talk a little more SDFC, get his thoughts on the Padres and their off season, since a lot of you probably haven't heard much from Darren the last couple of months. He's got a lot of stored up takes for us this morning. Darren Smith on the other side of our break here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, guys, it is Wizzy. Real quick, wanted to tell you about my experience with my friends over at Extreme Roofing. Came by the house last Friday, a week ago today, and did the zero-cost estimate for my wife and I. And ours isn't quite ready for the full overhaul yet. We had a roofer that we liked. We had a couple of leaks. He passed away, so I needed a new roofer. And these guys are awesome. It was sad, man, and he was really good, and I really liked him. But, Extreme Roofing, Ben showed up for me. They'll show up for you as well. When you work with these guys at Extreme Roofing, they're a family-owned company, 25 years, servicing San Diego. They do the job right the first time, all the time, and a lot of us think it's not something I really need to worry about right now. We live in San Diego, but there's heat, there's rain, there's wind. Listen, don't be the customer that lets their roof end up on the kitchen floor. Let them come out, do the zero-cost estimate for you. They're going to take great care of you. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Make the call today. The entire team ready to serve you now. Financing, of course, is available. Call Extreme Roofing, 619-334-ROOF, 619-334-ROOF. Let them know Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan sent you, please, or go online to extremeroofs.com.
Oh, this is a treat. We've got Darren Smith in studio joining us to just, talk a little soccer, talk a little Padres. We're excited because obviously today's the first Cactus League game, Padres and Mariners at noon here on 97.3 The Fan. Woods counts the days down, Darren, since the end of last season. Like, he looks at the calendar immediately and goes, how long do we have to get through until there's a baseball game again?
Yeah, how much Laker talk do I have to hear from him,
Right, yeah.
in the meantime? Luckily, the last couple of years, the Aztecs have been really fun to watch and cover, and you root for them. Like my wife went there, so it's that's eased the burden a little bit. But yeah, man, and I feel like you're a lot of the same way. Baseball season is different. It's different. You're like, I'm good. I'm good for 6-7 months now. I'm really happy. B, we've got a pretty exciting team to talk about here and have since we started on the air. You had some lean years that you had to navigate through.
I hate you guys. I
know.
Like the Ben and Wood show starts right as the Padres finally get good and serious about baseball.
We played the clip the other day. It was the anniversary of Manny signing.
Yeah, I just heard it on the way in.
Yeah, we had of course we had the Hosmer signing, and that was something. But when Manny signed, it all just kind of came together for everybody. And I know there's part of me that feels bad about that. Then there's part of me like, I can't. I'm pretty lucky. There's been no shortage of material to talk about with this team, and it's been a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, it's fun.
And even last year being a little bit removed from it, right? Like not doing it every single day, I think allowed it to be even somehow more enjoyable because,
of course.
And I think I might have said this to you when we were at AleSmith. Instead of thinking about what could go wrong, you're like, hey, I'm just enjoying this. I'm just enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. And I don't have to hear from general managers about the things that they think are flawed with this roster and what's going to prevent them from going to the next. You're just like, this is a lot of fun. Like, this is a really, really fun team to watch. And I kind of still am in that mode, I think. I think I'm still in that mode, or maybe I've just sort of switched permanently. But I'm with you. Like, I just kind of like the fact that it's on starting today.
Yes.
And, like, it's just on until the end of October. It's like one channel where it's just always on television, and you're just constantly tuned in, and it's there when you want it. And if you don't want it, it's fine. It'll be there when you do.
So, Darren, what was your perspective on this Padres offseason? And obviously things have changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks with the Nick Pivetta signing and bringing in some pieces. But I sometimes feel we're almost too close to it. We get too positive, too negative. We're riding that wave every single day. Stepping back just a little bit, what's your analysis of where the Padres kind of are as a franchise based on the moves they did and did not make this offseason?
Well, I mean, I think you said it well. I mean, if you asked me this 3 weeks ago, it probably would have been a little more glass half empty. I think probably today it's more glass half full, at least for now, subject to change, right? Because things happened last year in the month of March that people didn't quite see coming. I like it. I like the squad. I'm glad, at least for today, that they didn't have to trade away pieces. Maybe they will, and if they do, is it because they want to do it? Because they have to do it. Last year, you felt like they had to do those things.
Yep.
This year, you sort of get the sense. Again, as an outsider, I don't really know that it's they're doing what they want to do, and I think that the bones of the team are really good. This is a 93-win team last year. I think the top two pitchers are really good. Darvish, hopefully for a full season. The Pivetta signing. So yeah, I mean, listen, I understood there was all sorts of questions, and then you had lawsuits, and there was confusion, and some of us have lived through the John Mohr's era of Padre baseball, where you sort of felt like going through that then led to this like long extended winter, where nothing good was happening. And there was some PTS with that for sure. Like I can't imagine anybody who hadn't lived through that, like didn't think about that happening again. So, I feel pretty good about it. They're in Peoria. You guys will have the vibe check next week, but by all accounts, I've seen some of the clips from Sammy, from Marty, from other people that are out there, and it seems like it's an extension of where they left off last year, even though some of the pieces look different than they did, right?
For as tumultuous as it has been in the offseason, the sense when, at least so far again from camp, having Schilt already been there, bringing all the coaches back, the continuity, that's the one thing They have not had. And we asked Crony about it at FanFest, and I mean, imagine you're one of those guys, the Cronies, the Mannies, the guys that have been here for a few years. And every single spring you walk in, like, I have 17 new guys. Yeah. And not the minor league invites, the Jason Haywards, but like you're like, this guy's going to be our new shortstop. This guy's going to be this. This guy's going to be that. We don't have this. We don't have that. The continuity is good. Schilt has, I think, done a good job installing the culture. And, you know, I find myself, and it's not because I work here, and you guys all know me really well. You know me. If I was at home working for Jack in the Box corporate office, I'd be like, ooh, Jason Hayward. That is interesting. I am interested in Jason. What does he have left? Connor, Joe. That's just how I'm wired. But I like some of these smaller moves that AJ's made. And we all know, AJ, these aren't the moves he wanted to make. Like, he wanted to go bigger. Of course he did. But he wasn't in a position to do so. You've covered him a long time. You have a good relationship with him. We all agree. Much different guy off the air than on.
Yeah.
Morning, guys.
Morning. Has this? Do you get the sense that this has been a particularly excruciating off season for him?
I mean, I get the sense not really knowing which direction it was going.
Do you think it was
probably tough?
You think it was
and seeing people that he cares about kind of like getting dragged in the public spotlight? Probably.
Do you think because a lot of people's theory is
Sasaki?
Yeah. All the eggs were in the Sasaki basket, and when it didn't happen, we talked about it. He was probably devastated. Like, as a human being, not the GM of the Padres. Like, he was devastated. You put in so much work, and you didn't get him. That's another one you didn't get. You got to be a little bit lacking in confidence when something like that happens. I liked the pivot, though. The pivot has been, or the pivetta. I like that. It's been fine. Good. It's not the same, but it's something.
I also think that there's, I don't think it's just a handful of people saying out loud the theory that it always felt like Roki Sasaki was going to the Dodgers. I've heard that locally before I heard that nationally. So from that standpoint, do I feel like AJ was probably disappointed that it didn't happen here because they still had a chance up until the end? The fact that the Dodgers were still moving money around at the last second, I think gave an indication maybe it's not done like a lot of people have suggested behind the scenes. So, I think that when you invest that much time, and who even knows how much time AJ and his staff invested in Roki Sasaki, traveling, seeing him, years, right? Years of this courtship. Of course he's disappointed, but I think deep down, I think that, they probably subscribe to the theory that a lot of other people did. And Manny said it, and I like that Manny said it at FanFest, that when he hosted Roki Sasaki at his house, he's like, I kind of felt like he knew what he was going to do.
Yep.
And I know it sounds like you're sugarcoating or like you're coping or, whatever people like to say. But it was out there. I'm just telling you, like, I don't work here, so I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like, it was out there that there was a sense that he was always going to end up in Los Angeles. Now, there was a chance, and, like the number I heard was 70-30, 70 Dodgers, 30% everybody else. Then it gets whittled down to Toronto and the Padres. You're like, well, now it's like 15-15, So your mind starts messing with you a little bit. But I'm just always going to take with me the idea that this was sort of done and dusted, and it was always the likely pathway that he was going to end up in Los Angeles, which isn't to suggest that like they didn't try. I mean, there's a reason why they called in Ethan Salas to sit there and catch, and there's a reason why they hosted him and had Darvish and Alders and Manny. There's a reason why they did that. But, I mean, I can't imagine that they didn't anticipate, or at least they didn't prepare for the probability or the possibility, whichever, that he was going to go somewhere else. Yeah. So, like, I mean, I think I know how much time they invested in Shohei Ohtani back when he was first coming to the States. I mean, that was like an all-staff courtship where I heard people in different departments who ran the video boards at Petco Park were working late to try to put on some sort of show for Shohei Ohtani. So, like, I do believe that they probably worked every bit as hard, but, I just think that sense was out there probably for good reason. And that it happened makes it sort of hard to say, it's hard to prove, but it's also hard not to prove.
Darren Smith is in studio. He's going to stick around one more segment. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to play Take on Woods. We'll push it back into our 9 o'clock hour if you do want a chance to win that trip to Las Vegas. But, Darren, put your thinking cap on during the break because The little radio story time, just something. I only got to work with you for a short period of time at the old station before they pulled the plug on that one. And I know a lot of people miss your voice on San Diego radio, so we're going to just go back to some of the highlights of the Darren Smith era on San Diego radio in our next segment when we come back with more Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Still can't quite believe it. A couple weeks ago, in the chair right across from me, we had Dave Rickert sitting there. Now we've got Darren Smith sitting in this chair. How did we get so lucky, Woods?
Can we get the saw next? Yeah. You've got a problem.
You got a problem.
You got a problem. It's my favorite.
Why not?
It's my favorite drop of the year.
Do the old former radio guys.
Let's do it, man.
Do a whole series on that. I like it.
We got Darren here, and I said on a radio story time, and I just wanted to keep it kind of open-ended. I mean, you've been on the air. When did you first arrive in San Diego? I want to say mid-'90s?
No, 2003.
Not until 2003.
2003, yeah.
And then at the beginning, you were like on with Philly Billy, or how did it get started?
So
did you broadcast before here?
Kinda, but not. I was at ESPN.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's
right. Back in the days when ESPN and baseball had a great relationship in the 90s.
And
right?
were you a producer
really
there?
Now.
Yeah.
You were a producer at ESPN?
Yeah. I was Dan Patrick's producer.
That's right.
So, I got a entry-level gig at ESPN, cutting tape, which,
doesn't exist.
Nobody knows what that is. So got that gig and then started producing weekend shows with Sean Salisbury, which was a treat.
I heard he's a trip.
He's unique.
I've heard some stories.
And I could tell some stories. So
That's what this is, story time with Darren Smith.
He used to do the show from the old Extra 690 studios.
Oh, yeah.
And I swear I wouldn't hear from Sean all week. 2:59 p.m. for a 3 o'clock show. Hey, I'm here. What do we got today?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, you're killing me. And
Paulie gets it. He knows.
Everybody who's on that show gets it. Then did some weeknights, then did Dan Patrick, and then Dan's brother Bill started the old Mighty 1090.
Yep.
So had the opportunity to come out and was a producer and weekend host at first. And then Steve Mason left to go to Los Angeles. And Philly Billy needed one chair, needed a co-host. So I started doing the show with Billy in March of 2004. And it was just a trial. It's just like, hey, we're desperate. Steve Mason on a Sunday night said, I'm going to Los Angeles. Monday, we need somebody to sit in with Philly Billy. Can you do it? And I said, yeah, good, done. I'll do it. And sat in with him, did it for a couple of days. They tried a couple of other people. They said, hey, we got a cheap option right here in house. So, let's just have this guy do it.
The radio way, baby.
Well, that's my story.
Yeah.
I was called to fill in for 3 days for the guy who used to be there in the mornings and then here in the mornings. And then that 3 days became another week, and they said, can you stay on another week? And then they started bringing in different people to co-host with me, and eventually it was like, do you know Stephen Woods? And I go, no, I don't, but I'll meet him, and the rest was history.
That's the advice I give everybody in this business who feels like, oh man, when am I going to get my shot? I go, hey, at some point somebody's going to leave.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get canned. Something's going to happen in this industry,
Be around.
and you're going to be given an opportunity. Just I know it's a difficult thing to say, to be patient, especially when you're living here in San Diego, but there is truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that. A lot of things change in this industry, so you just got to be ready.
It's a war of attrition, man. Is what it is. And you're like, oh man,
1,000%.
People lost your job. I feel so bad for them, but it's like, look who's here. To slide right. I mean, if not for Dan Cilio, we're not even a thing. Like him going a couple of different places, we replaced him twice. I can't wait to see where he lands next.
Yeah.
If he gets a really good gig next, it's time to start planning.
Time to start packing up.
Yeah, packing up.
Won't be long.
Yeah. It's amazing. One of the things I love too, and we've talked about this a lot, is you getting to do some shows with some pretty big baseball people, and you've gotten ingratiated in the game of baseball by some of the best. Talk about some of your experiences in pregame and postgame with Flan and those guys.
Oh yeah, the Padre BP show. So 1090 was the flagship. And, mid 2000s were great. Petco Park was opening up. They were investing a little bit of money into the team. Nothing like it is today. But won a division title in 2005, 2006, 2007 was that crazy game 163. And there was a pregame show. They were all in on Padres. And we did a 2-hour show called the Miller Lite Padre BP show. And that was 2 hours before the 1-hour pregame show.
Various gas lamp locales.
We had 6 days a week where we would go to different gas lamp locations, true. And we used to have people that would follow us from place to place to place. And I got a chance to work with Tim Flannery and Randy Jones. And, it was such an eye-opening experience for me. We were talking a little bit about this during the break. I come in and I think I'm a know-it-all, right? Like, I know stats, right? Like Goose Gossage would definitely point a finger at me and say, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
And, you think you know a lot about sports, and then you spend 15 minutes talking to Tim Flannery and Randy Jones, and you find out what's actually happening on the field and what's actually happening in the clubhouse. You're like, I know squat. Like, I know nothing about what actually it is that happens down there. And you just learn to see the game in a way that's totally different than you're capable of seeing it on your own as a non-former player. So, like, it was just great. And those are truly, like, some of the best years of my career and like my career total. Obviously here in San Diego was doing those shows, and it just happened to coincide with 05 and 06 when the Padres were good and interesting, and Petco was new, and the gas lamp, and everybody, it just was a ton of fun.
It's funny because that just resonated with me, because this can be a difficult job to do when you have some self-awareness and realize that you are talking out of your rear end a lot of the time. And I hate doing that. I want to be as knowledgeable as possible about everything I talk about, and then I find out I'm pretty knowledgeable, but I'm not really, there's so much more you could learn. Like, how can you ever be qualified enough to sit for 4 hours and talk about a subject? You feel like you never can be.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember our mutual friend Flan. I can remember saying something, it was probably June. I was like, oh man, this is a big one tonight. Kind of looked at me. He's like, is it? Is it a big one? I was like, yeah, there's a lot on the line on this game. And he looks, he's like, okay.
It's June, buddy.
Right, like, all right, I got you. Yeah, it's a big one. You go with that.
They do have a way.
And I remember thinking like, oh, like what am I getting wrong here? But it was his way of saying, like, I've played this game and coached this game, and I've been a broadcaster and I've been around the sport my whole life. Like, it's not. It's just, there's another one tomorrow. So, like, just calm down, kid.
It's so funny, too, because we had that, in 2023 covering the team what a trip, man. What a great offseason. And, I mean, I grew 6 feet tall, with all the signings, and every day it was somebody new. And Juan Soto, you're just like, I can't believe this. We're going to win the World Series this year. We're going to be a part of it. And it went so south, so sideways, that it just blows your mind when you think you know. And I remember all season going, dude, relax. It's early. My God, like, it's early. Then come into last year, and I said, we can't say it's early anymore. There needs to be some sort of sense of urgency. How do you view this season for the San Diego Padres? I've kind of been saying the Mike Schilt way has always been you start slow and you want to peak at the right time, and it's absolutely true. We saw what happened to the Phillies last year. We all anointed them in June, July. They're going to win the World Series. It didn't happen. I still kind of the opinion of, like, I don't know that we can really handle the slow start here this season. I kind of got to come out of the gates firing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from where I sit, and again, this is as outside as I've been in 20 plus years. I think you don't want to give anybody any reasons to think that maybe the best strategy is to trade Dylan Cease or Luis Arraez or Michael King at the trade deadline, since they're on expiring contracts, right? Like, I would like to ride that one out. And if you have, like, the Padres are 500 through 100 games or something like that last year?
50 and 50.
Yeah, I mean, if that's this year, are there comments in the chat from people saying, well, let's not make the mistakes of 2023 where they didn't trade Blake Snell, where they didn't try to, do the things that they... And like, I didn't mind that then, and I don't really mind it now, because... truth of the matter is in 2023, like, if they beat the Diamondbacks one more time in the second half of the season, they go to the playoffs. They had a tiebreaker with the Cubs, and they would have had the tiebreaker with the Diamondbacks. So they weren't as far out as people make it out to be. That being said, it was what it was, and it's easy. And you can't say that the people who suggested that are totally wrong because you got nothing for Blake Snell. Is now with the Dodgers. So, I think I'd just try to avoid that kind of conversation if I were them. I don't know how you do that. I don't know that that's a great motivational speech in the clubhouse. Like, hey guys, let's not get our fans on social media talking about trading Dylan Cease or Michael King
in June.
But
and
I would
July.
like to avoid that if I were the Padres because then that could put some pressure on a new ownership group to think that maybe that's the right way to go about doing it.
Speaking of the Dodgers, we have Darren Smith in studio. Heard some players yesterday, as you can expect, going, love to see the Dodgers spending money because Yeah, rising tides lift all boats. They're players. They want to make money as much as possible, so spending is a good thing. It's been my contention, though, and I don't think the Dodgers are doing anything illegal. They're following the rules, but they're winning the World Series, then going on this spending spree is not good for the game of baseball as a whole, because I get the sense, and it's not just Padres fans, Darren, but 29 almost other fan bases are looking and seeing a mountain that doesn't look scalable. Even when you tell them, hey, it's the playoffs, anything can happen in a short series. I know that in my brain as well. But I look at that Dodgers team and I go, unless something goes wrong, that is an unscalable mountain. They're creating an impossible path that's like in front of everybody, and that just discourages an entire sports fans that, like, what can my team do against the face of such incalculable odds?
Yeah, and I get beaten up on this on social media because I've always said I'm not in favor of a salary cap. And I just go by recent history here in San Diego, where the Padres had the third highest payroll in the sport, and I didn't hear a single Padre fan going, but what about the Pirates? What about the Pirates? What about
you don't feel bad?
How they're spending in some other market. Instead, we were all drunk as skunks on that, right?
We were 100%.
We're like, yeah, screw those other owners, those cheapskates. That was the chorus.
I went nuts.
Yeah.
I went nuts. I would call them out by name every day.
That was the chorus that I think we all were in unison singing. So, but I understand it. And, I mean, all I could say is, I know it's cliche, but I am one of those people that think about the team that the Dodgers had to win the World Series. They didn't have these stars. They didn't have these players. Now, do I think it's an impossible mountain to climb in the NL West? Yeah, it certainly seems that way. But guess what? They've also expanded this postseason so that you get 7 teams now that get to go in there.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, are the Padres truly in competition with the Dodgers? Well, at some point they probably intersect, right? But do I feel like the Padre roster is in competition with the Dodger roster today? No, I think it's more about the Cubs, the Mets,
Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks, right? It's those kind of teams, and I think 1 through 4 at least in the starting staff, I kind of like where the Padres are. So, it's a different mindset, obviously, and I understand why people say it, but it's kind of like when people used to bellyache about players getting paid in college. You go like, yeah, it sounds great in theory, but how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it for the Dodgers who make $300 million in local television money compared to the Padres who don't? I don't know how you do that. Now, if somebody comes up with a system that's agreeable for everybody and everybody thinks, hey, this is in the best interest of the sport, great. But, there's lots of things wrong with the salary cap leagues too, right? Like, I mean, MLS, like Galaxy won the MLS Cup last year and had to trade away like 3-4 players that were part of their MLS Cup winning squad, because they got stuck in some sort of salary cap situation. And in the NFL and in the NBA, this is so. Well, I mean, it's an easy thing to say and it sounds good in theory. It's a difficult thing to put into practice.
Well, speaking of SDFC, we only got a few minutes left with you, and I know you're going to be stoked that the game is here and it's arrived on Sunday. What are your expectations? I've seen them, obviously it's an expansion team, so
right.
Keep your expectations low. I've seen them pick, dead last in their division,
sure.
Which probably, I mean, that's kind of how it works for the most part.
The wooden spoon, they call it.
Yeah, the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
What are you, what are you expecting?
Can I just say real quick? There are, the way like away fans travel. Like it's a little different in soccer. They have like away sections.
Yeah.
So like they funnel all the visiting fans into one section. It's not like it is at Petco Park where you get different pockets. There are 823 fans from San Diego going up to Carson.
Wow.
On Sunday. 823. I had to look up the number to make sure I had it right. 823 ticket allotment from LA Galaxy. That's how many people are going to show up there rooting for San Diego Football Club. I think they're going to score a lot. I think they're going to play a lot of high-scoring kind of games. And as an expansion club, there's different ways to go about doing it. You could be kind of tactically boring and try to win games 1-0 or 2-1 and all that. They don't want to do that. They want to. They might be like the early 2000 Padres with Nevin and Glesko, hit a bunch of home runs and lose 9-8. They might lose their share of 4-3 games.
That's how you get a fan like me.
Yeah,
by the way.
I think
that's exactly how you get a fan like me.
And by the way,
on
I think
board.
they're saying that publicly. Like our goal is, at least early on, like we're going to invest in attacking players and try to make this exciting for fans. We're going to play some high-scoring games. We're going to score. We might give up some goals, but it's going to be fun, and like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I think they're going to score a lot. Whether or not they can keep the ball out of the net, I'm not so sure. But I like that approach from an expansion club. It's not going to be a finished product, and they're going to invest in the things they think that will excite fans out of the gate.
Do you believe, in the structure, the owner, the Right to Dream Academy, what they have, are at least trying to create, is that a path to long-term success for this
I think
team?
so. I think objectively it's a great thing to offer people great opportunities to professional soccer, to open it up for youth soccer players in a way that really hasn't existed before in the U.S. So, we'll see. It's a different model. U.S. sports fans are sort of creatures of habit, so you're going to have to and a little fickle, and a little fickle, and it takes time. It's going to take some time, and if it turns into a winning product, then I think people will be happy with it. But the whole goal is to try to bring up younger players, have a younger looking squad in 5-7 years. But that's a tough thing today.
It's just like baseball.
It is.
That's baseball. That's what you dream of. You dream of being the Orioles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having you don't have to pay anything. You have all this young talent.
Yeah,
that's great, man. Dude, thanks so much for your time.
That's
it was
it.
awesome, man. That's it, right?
Yeah, that goes quick.
About to hear them. It does. It goes really fast.
We do appreciate you coming in. We're going to do a quick check of traffic, Paul. You still have it, or
no? I don't.
No, we're going to push traffic, and we're just going to.
Did I talk too much?
Yeah, no.
No.
It was my fault, actually. It's fine.
He always
guess what? It's Friday.
He asks one question.
There's a lot of traffic out there in San Diego.
There
There's
is.
a traffic
I can
report.
attest to that.
Sorry, Kelly, stealing your job out
And
there.
that traffic
That's right.
report was brought to you by Sedano Ford in La Mesa.
Perfect.
This President's Day, local and veteran-owned. Your veteran-owned Sedano Ford in La Mesa is making presidential-sized deals happen. Don't miss these historic President's Day savings. Visit SedanoFord.com for complete details. I'm Kelly Danik. Back to you.
Thank you.
5 brutal.
Paulie Danik.
Now we don't have to get the sponsor read in because
the 5 in
Paulie's
National
smart.
City
That's
is
how it's
brutal.
done.
15 North, terrible.
It's Friday. Stay away from the merge. You know how it works on a Friday in San Diego. Darren, it was great to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you so
Blast.
much for
Thank you,
coming
guys.
in. That was a real treat, and we will be eagerly anticipating the next big announcement from Darren Smith.
Indeed.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be.
Who knows?
Who knows? And who knows when it might come.
Maybe you guys break the news.
Stay tuned.
Done.
All right, we'll come back. We pushed Take on Wood, so we do have an opportunity. If you want to battle Woodsy, a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas. Also have our biggest fan announcement coming up, and spring training Sammy is going to join us from Peoria, Arizona, after Mike Schilt does his meeting with the media in just a couple of minutes. So all of that in the final hour of Ben and Woods ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. The Fan will be right back. Well, thanks again to Darren Smith. Oh, good old D. Smith. Good to hear his voice again on San Diego radio airwaves. It's Ben and Woods here, final hour of the week. Annie and Elston coming up at 10 o'clock. We've got spring training. Sammy is going to join us in just a few minutes. I believe Mike Schilt is about to meet with the media, as he does each and every day. What was it? How many days? 195 games?
Yeah.
In 219?
That means at least 195 pregame media sessions with Mike Schilt over the next 7 months, starting today. He's already doing it every day.
Yeah.
He seems at ease. I've been watching Mike Schilt.
Now, it'll change. I mean,
Is that just spring training?
I think that's the spring training vibe, right? Vibes are super high. Sky's the limit. Everything can happen. Anything can happen. Anything's possible. And then, you lose 4 straight. And I would be pissed. I would be pissed too if I was Mike Schilt or any manager. And I don't know how guys like Will Venable are going to be able to get through the season this year with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, that's but I think you look at a guy like Mark Kotsay, Benny, the perfect leader for the Sacramento A's right now. He had to grind last year. That was a really tough year for them, and the questions he got asked on a daily basis. I mean, put yourself in those shoes, man, and. I think Schilt's the right guy for this gig. He does seem at ease. He does seem, a little more comfortable, and that makes sense. He's got a year under his belt here, and, he probably looks around. He likes the guys he's got on his squad. I'm excited to talk to him next week. I want to kind of ask him, and talk with Schilty. It's so hard to get him to say anything critical at all, but what do you think you need to work on, right? You look back at last year, of course. And if you look back at last year's Padres team and you were the manager, you were the manager, Paulie, or I was the manager, what would you look at and say, hey, man, early on, we need to clean up X?
That's a tough one for him because I think he's the kind of guy who is constantly striving to get better in multiple areas for his team. But he also doesn't want to admit that there are things that his
weaknesses.
team doesn't do well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of a conflicting of his own personality, his relentless positivity, but also with his drive for excellence and knowing that you can't get there and you're not even close to where you need to be at the start of the season. When he told us last year, we got a lot of work to do. We'll get better. We'll get there by the end of the year. He's inherently admitting, but we're not there now. And that requires at least a little sense of a dose of reality that you don't hear from Mike Schilt that often.
I'll say this, man. It's pretty funny, Paulie, and I know you noticed this when we were out at Fantasy Camp too. And maybe they're still up, maybe they're not. We're not really allowed in the clubhouse area. I may pop in, steal a water, as I always do.
No,
it's like a covert mission to go. I'm going to do it.
Don't get us in trouble.
Well, the reason that I want to do it is I want to see if those things are still up on the wall. Did you see what was on the front of the lunchroom door?
I did.
You saw it too.
I did.
The expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
For hitting, for fielding, for running, for this, for that. And I go, well, that's new. I've never seen those before, right? And if I'm going to look at all those things that were pasted on the wall, the one I'm going to look at that this team could do better is probably base running early in the season. Stealing that extra, getting that extra bag, taking that extra base. They
got better last year as the season
went on, of course. But coming out, more attention to detail would be great.
I noticed those. They weren't just motivational posters like you used to sell out of your trunk.
True.
They're very specific,
very
Mike Schilt. It felt like the Mike Schilt's fingerprints were on those expectations of how Padres baseball should be played.
That's correct.
Before we do anything else, we need to give out the name of our biggest fan. If you get your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 and qualify for our grand prize 20 tickets in one night in the Odyssey Suite.
Whoa.
You don't get one ticket for 20 nights. You get 20 tickets for one night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. You can register your name at 973thefan.sd.com/biggest fan. And today's biggest fan is Nicole Hunter from El Cajon. Nicole, you got 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973. Still to come, we got Sam Levitt, spring training Sammy's going to join us. I believe he's with Mike Schilt right now. And I don't know, maybe he can see if those posters are still up in the lunchroom hallway area of the Padres spring training complex in Peoria. We had the lineup earlier for the San Diego Padres first spring training game of the season. we gave all the names, and I know you can't read too much into it. Obviously, not every star is playing. Fernando Tatis Jr. is not in the lineup today. Luis Ariz is not in the lineup today. Jay Cronenworth is not there. Do you make anything out of Eggy leading off? Why would you lead off with Eggy Rosario? Any reason for it? Just because you want to get him his at-bats and get him out? Or
yeah. I don't read too much into I mean, if you're going to ask a question, why is Elias Diaz hitting fourth? Like if you're going to parse out the lineup for the San Diego Padres today, is he hitting
You've
fourth?
got three established big leaguers in a lineup today. Connor Joe, Manny Machado, and Elias Diaz. Those are guys who, Diaz has been to an All-Star game, Machado obviously, and Connor Joe's, has a few years of experience under his belt. They're hitting 2, 3, 4. Everybody else is basically battling for
a bench spot,
a spot on the roster, even including Eggy Rosario, including Gavin Sheets. Oscar Gonzalez is in the mix for the outfield. Tyler Wade, I think, is going to make the team, but he's a bench spot type of guy. Tirso Ornelas is clearly someone they're looking at in left field as well. Brandon Lockridge, his speed is giving him probably experience, gives him a bit of an edge, but he's got to prove himself as well. So everybody outside those three are, kind of roster maybes here, but all, feel like they've got something to show off here, and these Cactus League games are important for them.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm not going to read too much into where guys are hitting. Honestly, where even guys are playing. I'm just so excited that it's back. So fun to see them. I'm excited to see Ryan Berger, what he can do today. And a guy that I think they think pretty highly of, and you'll see him for an inning or whatever. But it's also like it's always fun to see, because we're pretty in the weeds on San Diego Padres baseball. It's also fun to see who's going to throw next and who's going to come in after that and who's going to go into this position. And there's a lot of names out there, Benny, a lot of guys that I'm really excited to see next week when we go out. You see the pictures of Cale Fountain walking around. And
he looks like a beast.
I mean,
he's their first-round draft pick from last year.
Is he an outfielder?
Cale Fountain is what position does he play?
He's a monster, dude.
But he is huge. I mean, the guy he's a left-handed pitcher. Oh, no, that's Cash Mayfield.
That's Cash Mayfield.
Cale Fountain is, he's an outfielder.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all these guys. You're like, all right, are these guys going to be getting some looks, some ABs? I'm excited to see all of them.
All those names are Cale and Cash.
Yes.
And, you got Cash was their first-round pick. Cale was like third or fourth rounder, but they paid him extra.
And then Kavaris tears as well.
Yeah, saw him out there. Yep. Haven't seen Boston Bateman yet.
No,
really tall. He's the 6'7" guy from Camarillo High School that they took in the second round.
Man.
Oh, hopefully we'll run into some of those guys.
No doubt.
Next week. We're going to play Take on Woods here. 833-288-0973 if you want to get online. Right now, we'll play our 5-question musical trivia challenge while we wait for Sammy to finish up with Mike Schilt. So you can give us a call right now, 833-288-0973. Paulie's got his Rindle report coming up in our last segment. Maybe get to that big Wemby headline from yesterday. That's a scary story. If you haven't heard that yet, we can talk about it a little bit later. But that's a scary story for the Spurs and the NBA as well. And we did have a baseball signing yesterday. The Pittsburgh Pirates signed left-handed pitcher Andrew Haney to a 1-year, $5.25 million deal, I saw.
And I did see that they are the leaders in the clubhouse for Jose Quintana. Did you see that yesterday?
Was that before they signed Haney or after?
I don't know. I saw the Haney deal, and then I saw that they were, in talks to get Jose Quintana.
Well, good for the Pirates.
Yeah, good for them.
Spend at least a little bit of money here. All right, looks like we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods. Oh, we got Guy. I was trying to yell to Woods because he knows it's always a tough challenge.
All nervous.
Guy's on the line. Good morning, Guy. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Happy Friday to you. Let's get your weekend started on a good note and get you qualified for our grand prize drawing this month. It is a trip to see Motley Crue and their new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at the Park MGM, March 28th through April 19th. If you beat or tie Woods, you're into the drawing for the trip for 2 nights at the Park MGM and the tickets. You can get your tickets to Motley Crue at Ticketmaster.com. Here are your categories, Guy. Musical JJs. Those are 5 musical artists with the initials JJ. We got a mystery category, and it's also an all 2-second song category. I know you know how that works. And then our new category, lacking in size. 5 song titles that include a word that means, well, the opposite of big. You'll get that. All right, so musical JJs, mystery category, or lacking in size, Guy?
Go for the JJs.
Musical JJs. All right, today on Take on Woods, we're looking for 5 musical artists with the initials JJ. I know you know how to play. I think most of the tier 1s know as well, so let's just put 60 seconds on the clock. Paulie, tell me when you're ready. Give me a thumbs up.
1 second.
1 second. He's never had me move so fast in this game before.
Yeah, Jesus.
All right, fine. I'll explain. If you want to pass, we can come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. I just need to give Paulie a chance to cue it up, which he's still doing.
Almost there.
Almost there.
Well, typically, they start right at the beginning.
You need to. I know this one's a little bit of a.
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Give me the title and the artist. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category musical JJ's, Guy. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Nasty, Janet Jackson.
Correct. After starting her career with the Runaways, which rock icon achieved legendary status with her backup band, the Blackhearts?
Joan Jett.
Correct. Born into a surfing family in Hawaii, which environmentally conscious singer-songwriter had a #1 album in 2006 with his songs for the movie Curious George.
Jack Johnson.
Correct. Which powerful voice performer reached #1 on the charts with her cover of Me and Bobby McGee after her death from a heroin overdose in 1970?
Janis Joplin.
Correct. Which teenage pop star hit it big on the Disney Channel alongside his siblings Kevin and Nick in the mid-2000s?
Joe Jonas.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's a JJ extravaganza
Hell
from
yeah.
Guy, who wins 5. All Woods can do is tie. Let's bring him back. Guy,
I don't
you
think
are
he
in.
gets 5 here. I don't know.
He may miss 3, 5. I'm not sure. All right, Guy's score is locked in.
Nervous?
It's Guy. I'm always nervous.
I would be.
He's really good.
I would be here. Put your thinking cap on. All right, no category for Woods.
Doesn't he usually give me the category? He usually does.
I
guess he got.
Guy, do you want me to give him the category or no?
Hey, why not?
All
I mean,
right.
I already won, right?
That's
What the
true.
heck?
All right.
Oh,
well,
no. 5 for 5. That's great. Here we go.
All right. Yeah, you can do this, especially with the category.
All right.
Musical JJs.
Okay.
Initials JJ. Here we go. 60 seconds. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Guy.
Pass.
After starting her career with the Runaways, which rock
Joan Jett.
Correct. Born into a surfing family in Hawaii, which environmentally conscious singer
Jack Johnson.
Correct. Which powerfully voiced performer reached #1 on the charts with a cover of Me and Bobby McGee after her death?
Janis Joplin.
Correct. Which teenage pop star hit it big on the Disney Channel alongside his siblings Kevin and Nick in the mid-2000s?
Joe Jonas.
Correct. Let's go back to that 2-second song.
This.
Oh, you had it. You
Oh,
had it
you
there for
na-
a second. Yeah.
Who is it?
You have it.
Yeah!
You have it.
Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
The
What's
song is
You
Nasty
almost said it.
Girl.
Nasty.
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 Yeah.
You
Nasty.
said it.
I said it.
I take your first answer. I give it to you. We'll give you the tie.
Yes.
Because it doesn't affect Guy at all. I will give you the tie, Woods. Congratulations to both of you on perfect scores in musical JJs.
I love that
You
song.
heard it, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Nasty.
It's my favorite Janet Jackson.
I'm not surprised. You're an absolute pervert, and you always have been. And I'm glad that I brought that out on the air.
All right, Guy, hang on the line. We got to take a quick time out. When we come back, spring training Sammy is going to join us from Peoria, Arizona, with the latest on the Padres as they get ready for their first Cactus League game. First, I'll tell you about SDFatLoss.com. My weight loss journey started about 19 months ago when I just looked in the mirror and I go, all right, I'm in my 40s. I've let it get out of hand a little bit. What can I do to lose weight and lose weight fast? And I was approached about the SDFatLoss.com program. I said, all right, I will give it a try. Here's the problem. I love eating. I love real food. I've done the shakes and bars programs. I couldn't stick with them because I just got so sad on eating those bars every day. This program, though, with SDFatLoss.com, I ate things I liked. I ate steak, I ate chicken, I ate ahi tuna fish, I ate vegetables, And I just did it in the right portions at the right times. Yeah, it took a little bit of an adjustment, but after a few days, I was kind of rolling. I was seeing the weight come off up to a pound of fat per day. And after 60 days, I had lost 40 pounds. It was life-changing. I felt better. I looked better. The pain in my knees and my back started to go away. All this can be you as well. Just go to sdfatloss.com. Sign up for your free consultation. If you want to do the program, you're going to get $200 off right now in the month of February. So sign up today, get that free consultation, and join me, Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. They lost 77 pounds combined in the afternoon show. So many tier ones who have done this without exercise, without those injections that are expensive every single week for like the rest of your life if you want to keep off the weight. This, do it for 2 months and then keep the weight off like I did at sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. Got one more Sorry. There we go. All right. Professional here. Got one more giveaway still to come in the next few minutes. We've got the last pair of tickets to AEW at Front Wave Arena. AEW Dynamite Wrestling coming up on February 26th. Your chance to call in and win shortly. Spring Training Sammy is still waiting or is currently with Mike Schilt. So I thought instead of baseball, we can talk about some of the other sports that use sticks right now. What are some of the other sports that use sticks?
Hockey.
Woods? Hockey is one. And
lacrosse.
Lacrosse is another one.
Yeah.
Let's
golf.
Let's hit both of those. I guess old-fashioned golf use sticks.
Well, you just said yesterday, what's the name of that new show?
Stick.
Yeah,
stick.
So, I mean, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
I don't know. Are lacrosse sticks made out of wood now? Or are they like fiberglass?
Carbon
or
fiber
sort of,
or something, yeah.
Advanced.
They're awesome.
Technology.
Yep.
But, the Seals are back in action. You got a game tomorrow night at home.
God, it's been so long.
Against the number one team, the defending champions.
Yep.
The team that had a huge winning streak until last week when the Seals went into Buffalo and beat them. And now they have a chance at revenge right away tomorrow night at Pechanga Arena.
Honestly, I'm excited to see if they're up for the challenge. Got our record back to 500, which I will say is a little bit disappointing. But we're missing some key guys. Trevor Baptiste has been out all year. He's the best face-off man in the world. And when you lose, a lot of face-offs, it's kind of tough to stay in these games.
I didn't realize he was out.
Yeah, he's been out all year. It's been a huge bummer. And I think
I went to a game and I didn't even realize he was out.
Yeah, it's been a huge bummer. He's that good. I mean, he is like the best in the world. But yeah, man, 5-5 right now. Still battling for a playoff spot. This is a massive.
Hey, just
massive
get in.
game.
Just get
Gotta
into
get
the
into the
dance.
dance, as we've been saying. Yeah, they're the Dodgers. Basically, the Bandits.
The
are like the
Bandits?
Dodgers. Yeah, yeah, we beat them. Beat them last week.
On the road.
They were coming off of back-to-back, so they were a little bit gassed, but they're going to be fresh and ready to go. And
they're going to be angry.
They're nasty, dude. They are a nasty team. So
What's the
I'm
spread?
excited.
Do you know
Though.
the
I don't know
spread?
what the spread is.
Are you not allowed to bet on Seals games because of your involvement with the organization?
Here's the deal. I just haven't found anywhere to do it. And it's not for a lack of looking.
Try.
Okay? It's not for a lack of looking. I have not been told. We do not have the sign hanging up like they do at spring training.
Do not bet on
Do
these
not
games.
bet on these games.
Yeah.
It's a bit of the Wild West. But, yeah, you can get your tickets at sealslax.com. Going to be there. It's Margaritaville night.
Oh.
Yeah. Jimmy Buffett's old band leader is going to be doing a halftime show. I will be in my one Hawaiian shirt that I have. I'm going to, I like to dress up. I skipped country night for obvious reasons, but I'm going to do Margaritaville night, and I'm going to embrace it.
There's booze in the blender.
Yeah,
and soon it will render
that frozen concoction that helps me hang on.
It's a great line.
It's a great line. I mean, that's like really, really good. It sucks that a frozen concoction is helping you hang on, but I also get it. I've been there in my life.
He eventually realizes that it's been him all along.
Yeah.
He's the problem.
He's the problem. Some
It
people
just
say
might
there's
be
a
my
woman
fault.
to blame, but it might be my fault.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah,
eventually comes to realize. Yeah.
it's going to be a blast.
We have Sammy if you guys want to talk.
Oh,
for
let's
just a few
do it.
minutes.
All right, let's get out to Sammy. More stick sports like baseball. Sammy, spring training. Sam Levitt is with us. What's going on right now? A little late on the Mike Schilt this morning.
Yeah, got to hear from the manager, as always, so settling in after that. A lot of good stuff from Mike this morning about the lineup and his excitement to see some of the guys out there, namely Tirso Ornelas in left field. Obviously a tremendous opportunity for him this season, this spring training, to make the ball club. Tyler Wade at shortstop, getting some run there. You might see him there a little bit more when it comes to this roster. And now Xander back at short. And when you consider who might play shortstop when Xander gets a day off here or there, Brandon Lockridge, I think, is somebody very interesting to watch in center field based on what Mike said today. You look at this roster. There's not really one guy that you would point to that would say here's the backup center fielder behind Jackson Merrill when he gets a day off here or there. Certainly Jason Hayward can play out there. Tyler Wade obviously could play out there hypothetically, but I do think there's a reason that you do have Wade at shortstop today, Lockridge in center. Some talk about Eggy Rosario in the lineup today. I thought something interesting as far as Eggy that Mike Schilt talked about today was Eggy obviously is somebody they played a little bit in left field last year. Him playing left could certainly add on to his versatility and his likelihood to make the team. But Mike talked about, the way the roster is shaping up as spring training rolls along, maybe dictating a little bit where they may start playing Eggy more. For example, like if they need more left field help, then maybe he's going to get more run out there. But, Eggy is an infielder by trade, and certainly it sounds like he'll get time at second and third, and that may be dictated a little bit by how the rest of their team is shaping up. So some good stuff on the lineup today, and Cactus League baseball coming up in just a little while.
No, I can't wait, Sammy. It feels so good to have it back, a real game, albeit with, there's a couple of guys in there I'm interested. You mentioned a couple of them in Tierso and Brandon Lockridge, but Sheets, Gavin Sheets as well is one that you got. Wait.
Yeah,
it's Gavin. There was another
Andy Sheets.
That was Ben Sheets too.
Sheets.
Yeah, Gavin Sheets is going to be DHing today. He's got a lot of raw power. Like that's one thing that this team needs. Can play some first base as well. I'm excited to see Connor Joe, the hometown kid, as well. Mm-hmm. Nothing guaranteed really to any of these guys, so it's kind of important that they play well.
Yeah, I think it's very much wide open when you talk about the open roster spots, especially when it comes to the bench spots. So Sheets is another guy that Mike Schilt talked about today, and obviously has power, obviously has a ton of major league experience. So I'm with you. He's somebody to watch. Another thing that I would say is important to watch today, beyond what is going on in the Cactus League game against Seattle, is Kyle Hart will throw his first live BP today. So we'll get our first look at Kyle Hart throwing to hitters. And I talked to Kyle today. He's intriguing, right? He had a great season in the KBO, made some adjustments with a sweeper, with lowering his arm slot. I think there's a number of different factors that went into his success there. It's interesting. I asked him what was the biggest key for him there, and he actually started his answer by talking about the ABS system that they have in the KBO, which I didn't realize until he started talking about it. But I guess last year they had the full ABS system, robot umps per se, in the KBO, and he talked about knowing for sure that he was in the zone when he was throwing. I guess having a better idea of the strike zone, and obviously the new sweeper was important for him. And look, I thought it was interesting too. To me, he admitted, like, hey, I understand, when you have numbers like that in the KBO, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because now you see how it translates to major league hitters. So just an aside, I know there's going to be a lot of talk about what's going on in the Cactus League game today, but we'll have some video with the Kyle Hart live BP, and obviously he's I would say a pretty good candidate for that fifth and final rotation spot. So that's something to watch today.
I think Kyle Hart is one of the most intriguing people at camp because AJ has had success finding arms in far-flung locations. Nick Martinez, was playing in Japan. Robert Suarez, Yuki Matsui's he's been good. I mean, a superstar yet, not yet, but good. But then there's always the Woo-Suk Go, who wasn't good enough. Like, okay, which direction is Kyle Hart going to go? What did he see in Kyle Hart that makes him think that he couldn't possibly jump into this rotation? That'll want to be one of the fascinating storylines, I think, coming up in spring training for sure, Sammy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Kyle is, as that Tom Cosgrove pops up behind me, I think Kyle Hart is definitely been, to your point, really intriguing because obviously I think it's because he made adjustments and then he had so much success. So I enjoyed talking to him today. I know we posted a little bit about him about a week ago, but we'll post some of that a little bit later. It's just interesting to hear some of the adjustments he's made and kind of his mindset is now he looks to face major league hitters once again. So I'm with you. Very intriguing and in a good way for him, a lot of unknown there.
All right, Sammy, we're going to take our last time out here, so we'll let you go. But I know you'll be covering everything over this weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday, and then we will see you. We'll arrive on Tuesday afternoon after the show. So looking forward to seeing you next week out in Peoria.
All right, guys, have a good weekend, and I will see you here next week.
I can't wait for our deli date like we had last
year. Yeah, let's go back there.
Yes,
let's go back there for sure. That was a good lunch.
Can't wait.
Peoria's most authentic New York deli.
Delicious.
We were heading there with Sammy at least one of the days. If not, I think we went twice.
I
last
think we
year.
did, dude. It was really good.
All right, last time out. We'll come back. Paulie's got some headlines in the Rindle Report. Before we do that, though, I do have to give away our last pair of tickets to AEW Dynamite coming to Front Wave Arena on February 26th. If you are a fan, then these are tickets that you are going to want to win. Fourth caller, 833-288-0973. Going to win the tickets to AEW Dynamite at Front Wave Arena. Coming up next, what's that? February 26th is next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Tickets are on sale now at AEWTIX.com.
But first, let us tell you, me and Ben, about Trust and Will. We both were approached, and I said, we were asked, do you guys have a trust or will? I said, I do not.
Neither.
I was kind of embarrassed.
I was too.
I was embarrassed.
I was
about
too.
It. Yeah. And I'm not trying to shame anybody, out there around my age, 49, of not, if you don't have one. I was right in your same boat. But I was embarrassed. I go, no, I don't. Are you interested? Yes, I am. How does this work? And then they filled us in.
Right. You shouldn't be pulling teeth because they make it so easy at trustandwill.com. You just go to the website, you answer some simple questions. It only takes about 20 minutes, and you can actually get legal documents, a will or a trust, sent to your home that will provide direction and clarity for your family if something happens to you, and can save them a lot of hassle and heartache after you're gone.
Well, and money. And money as well.
Yeah.
If you don't have a trust, your family is going to end up in probate court. It's lengthy. It's costly. They have to pay a tremendous amount of fees. It takes forever. Not something you want your family to have to do when you're gone. So all you have to do is go to trustandwill.com, trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego, all one word, when you check out. You will get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by, again, going to trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego at checkout.
This hour of Men in Woods brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends April 5th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. Funny, I was just surfing my feed, and I came across a 10 News post about the Padres. And it's rare that I get my Padres news from 10 News.
You're the one that gives,
because I'm usually
10
the one
News,
that gives 10 News the Padres news first, and then they post it, which is great. But this works in reverse this morning, and it is contract terms obtained for Nick Pavetta's contract.
Okay.
We knew it was a weirdly structured 4-year, $55 million deal. We knew that Nick Pavetta can opt out after the second and third years of the deal. But there is a couple of other provisions in there that include the fact that the Padres can opt out of the contract as well after 2 years if Nick Pavetta is on the injured list for more than 130 consecutive days.
Interesting.
In any season or 1 year period. Also, if Nick Pavetta gets injured in a similar fashion, they can add a year to the deal for just $5 million at the end of the deal.
Pretty solid.
There is some injury protections built in for the San Diego Padres in the Nick Pavetta deal.
That's just an interesting deal.
Had not been previously reported, so there it is. He also gets a hotel suite on road trips.
Oh, does he?
He does.
He got the suite?
He got the suite.
Man. Lucky. I thought you were going to talk about Hooters filing for bankruptcy. That's what came up in my feed.
Hooter Research.
Do you know that?
Bankruptcy?
Yeah.
People just don't like chicken wings anymore.
Or boobs. Or both.
I'm guessing that neither of those statements are true.
I would tend to. I thought I knew.
I think
I thought I knew America.
I feel
Apparently
like both
I don't.
of those things will have everlasting popularity. Right? That was the business model.
Yeah, I mean, one would dream. The one, I can't imagine. I can't imagine a time in America where you're not interested in one or both of those things, preferably at the same time.
Right.
Right? Alex says the wings are garbage now. Definitely changed
Really?
something. Now I took
You took the boys, to a wholesome family restaurant.
Last year, as Bo was, making his foray into wings. That has stuck, by the way.
Likes wings?
He loves wings. That's all.
Good man.
That's what he asks
Who
for.
doesn't?
Yeah, I know, right? So I had them. They were fantastic. They've always been fantastic. I love the Hooters naked wings. And we had a great time. Now, I don't know if they have, in fact, changed something, because some restaurants have Chili's. Chili's changed my beloved chicken crispers.
Now, you'll often say that you do not understand various things in adult life.
Yes.
Like
deductibles.
Deductibles.
Correct. Or cable.
Tax write-offs.
Tax write-offs.
I don't understand bankruptcy because...
I don't either.
I mean, doesn't mean that Hooters is going away. You hear, they're going
Correct.
bankrupt, they're going away. Never means that.
No.
It rarely means anything at all.
Yeah.
Our company went bankrupt.
We did, actually.
Radio, radio company across the street went bankrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's gone bankrupt. We're still here. I mean, you can still get your Ben & Woods. I'm assuming you probably can still get your chicken wings and Hooters at Hooters.
I think they are doing some restructuring.
Yeah, it's more of it's a very technical business financial thing, when you have like creditors and stuff.
Jocelyn said, my son was taken to Hooters for his buddy's 13th birthday dinner. Now he won't stop talking about it. Thanks.
That's the different wing sauce options, or what is it? What,
yeah,
what
Mom, you should have seen all the wing sauce options they had. That's absolutely fantastic, Jocelyn. And it's one of those things, like I can't have Bo's 8th birthday party at Hooters without running it by the other parents, right? Like, hey, I'm taking the guys to Hooters for some wings, but I think there would probably be some parents that wouldn't want that. Correct?
Probably.
Would you have let your kids go to
yes.
a? Oh,
absolutely.
Me too. Yeah, you're not real stuffy.
Right.
People think you are,
it's
but
not
you're really
X-rated.
not. No, it's not
a restaurant. It's just a
X-rated.
restaurant.
Yeah, they're in clothes. Yeah.
All right, we're going to check traffic one last time. Then Paulie's got our last headlines here of the week in the Randall Report coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few things wrapping up our morning drive. Southbound 5 at J Street, collision involving several vehicles. Got the right lane blocked. Also, southbound 163 past Friars Road, reports of some trash debris in middle lanes. And got a car fire northbound 15 before Valley Parkway. That's in the center divide. I'm Kelly Donick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. All right.
Paul
Good
is
morning.
juggling
gentlemen.
you got a lot of balls
no
over
idea.
here.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my
Pretty
darling.
much, man.
I mean, this hour alone, he's doing like biggest fan, take on Woods at the same time, answering those phone calls,
Wrestling tickets.
giving away wrestling
Getting
tickets,
Sammy on.
getting Sammy on, and now he's got a Reindl
And
Report.
then on the same line that Sammy was on, our Padres broadcast later this afternoon is also on that. So I'm testing with Dave Marcus
from the
who I
Peoria
think he
Sports
can hear me.
Morning,
Do it-
Dave.
do it
if you
live,
can hear
Dave.
us.
Dave, you there? You're on the air.
You're on the air. Let's
Hello.
test the
Good
line. There
morning.
he is.
Hey,
It
buddy.
works. How are you guys? Good morning.
Welcome back. Another. How many seasons is this for you? 60.
2, almost 32, but yeah, it feels like 60 sometimes.
You're
The guys in the
older
booth,
than
I'm
the
sure.
MLS.
That's true. That's true. 32nd season. The great Dave Marcus, man. Look at you, dude.
Yeah, I know. No ambition. That's what I always tell people.
I can relate 100%. Thank you, buddy.
We're all good then on
Thanks,
this line,
guys.
Dave?
Have a great show today, bud.
Yep. Thanks, Paul. Yep.
See you, buddy. All right, there we go.
All right, got that done, Paulie. Last thing to do is the Reindl Report headlines.
Reindl Report.
Yeah, dazzle us,
you know,
Paulie.
This morning's been a little bit crazy. Awesome to have Darren in.
Yeah.
We talked about it at like 6:20 this morning briefly and said we're going to talk about it later. We never did. I wanted to get
just
you
did.
guys
Where you are now.
more thoughts on the Four Nations face-off. Title game last night, USA and Canada. Canada did win 3-2 in overtime. And I got to say, I had this game on the entire time, start to finish, muted on another screen, but paying attention. Not a big hockey guy. Like, I don't know what it says. It's a me thing, I guess. Like, I don't know. I loved last night.
I loved it too.
I don't know that I'm going to watch another hockey game, at least in the regular season this year.
Well,
Like,
again, you don't have a rooting interest in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
You do have an interest in your country playing against Canada.
there was some drama.
Some
for sure.
drama there. Those games, Olympic hockey, all that. Like you're rooting for or fighting for country and all that, and that's cool. So JJ Watt actually tweeted last night the one thing about football you never get to do. You never really get to ride for your country.
Yeah.
He goes, it's the one negative about football. You can in baseball, you can in golf, you can in basketball, you can in hockey, you can in soccer. Football, no dice. But as far as the game goes,
It was unbelievable.
I'm telling you, man, Connor McDavid, and you know that name. If you're a very casual hockey fan, you know that name. But to watch him play, to watch him skate, to watch him handle the puck, Ben, incredible. And everybody tweeted, how is he left alone how is he left alone in the slot, wide open? The slot.
What is the slot?
It's the top of it's like the top of the key.
Between
basically.
the two face-offs.
Between the two
circles,
face-offs,
right there.
yeah.
You know what?
Right in front.
I didn't really never know what forechecking is. They always talk about forechecking. And I just assumed it was checking, when you smash someone into the boards.
Yeah.
But I was looking it up. It's actually more the strategy of keeping the puck in the zone so it doesn't go out. When you're on offense, you can't let it go across the blue line.
Yeah.
Because then you're offsides and you have to all skate out again. So the forechecking is kind of the process of keeping that positioning on the corner, so when the puck slides out, you don't let it get out of your zone,
right.
So you can keep peppering shots at the goaltender.
Boy, and I'll tell you, man, both goaltenders there in the last, I'd say the last 2 minutes of the third period, I was like, the U.S. is about to win this. They are just slamming shots at Bennington, and he made all the saves. And then conversely, down at the other end as well, man, it was a really fascinating game, and these guys took it way seriously. I loved it. I loved every second.
But I think I learned an important lesson from this tournament, and that is, there are sports that you truly are a fan of. We're truly fans of baseball. We will watch spring training games because we are so diehard fans. But no one can be a diehard fan of every sport. There's not enough time in the day.
You really can't.
So what draws you in to watch other things that are not your team or your sport? And the answer is very simple. It's not country, but it can be part of it. It's stakes and passion. If you think that the teams and the players are bought in, I'll watch anything. I'll watch soccer. I'll watch lacrosse. If the people involved are passionate and care, and you can tell that they are effort. I don't even need to know the rules. I'll figure out the rules. I want to watch people who are passionate and care about what they're doing, competing against each other, and that's what I saw last night between the U.S. and Canada in that game.
I've said it so many times, and I'll say it again. It's why I fell in love with the NLL, the National Lacrosse League. It is literally why I fell in for it. You're seeing people playing sports for the reason you played sports when you were a kid. They don't make a ton of money. They play massively hard and fast, and they hit hard, and they care. You hear them screaming at each other, and they're out there to win. And look, most of the guys from the SEALs, they're brought in they live in Canada, they live in other places. They're not. Yes, they're playing in San Diego, but they're not playing for San Diego per se. That doesn't even matter to me. I see the effort, the energy, and the passion, and that's what has sucked me in, man. That's why, again, I make money to go do the PA, but that's why I'm watching on my iPad on ESPN Plus them winning, against the Bandits last week and screaming when Berge, gets the last goal, and that's what it is.
But you can't fake it. Adam Silver can't just tell the All-Stars, hey, if you could just care and have a lot of passion for the All-Star game,
right?
People would love it if they were playing, but you can't fake it. It's got to be real, and it was real last night, no doubt about it.
Can the NBA do something maybe similar? USA versus the world. You got a team with Kevin Durant, LeBron James going up against Giannis and Luka.
And if they
Jokic.
play like those hockey players played last night, people would eat it up.
I think
so. And if they play like they play in an All-Star game, people wouldn't care at all. It's not the countries. It's not the flags. It's the passion.
The effort.
It's the effort that people like to see.
Yeah, I loved it, man. And I hope they do it every year that there's not the Olympics. They should do this. It was really brilliant.
Speaking of the NBA, bummer story yesterday out of San Antonio as star rookie Victor Wembanyama has been shut down for the rest of the season, and I believe the exact diagnosis was deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder.
It's a great word.
Now that's usually the thing that you get like
clot.
when you sit in planes for too long, and it can be fatal. I mean, this is serious.
Oh yeah, blood clots are no joke.
The Spurs put out a statement. They said that after he returned to the Spurs after the All-Star game, they noticed that something was going on. They found this blood clot that was beginning to form. It says the condition is typically treated with blood thinning medication, and that will keep a guy out from any sort of contact sport, including basketball. So I hope he's okay.
Yeah,
I hope he recovers.
And hopefully there's no lingering effects. But if it comes back, then he has to go treatment again. It kind of ended like Chris Bosh's career, I think.
Yeah.
But Brandon Ingram had it, but came back okay, I think. So, I mean, it's definitely something to keep an eye on that I'm sure the Spurs and really any NBA fan should be concerned about for Wemby.
Yeah, 100%. And then finally, there has been a very disturbing trend regarding airplanes over the last month
Very
and a half.
excited to fly next month. Can't wait.
No kidding. We've talked about a few of them in the mornings. You wake up and you're like, another one.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Well, of course, there was one just a few days ago in Toronto. You guys saw that, where the plane landed and flipped over at the Toronto airport. The 76 passengers that were on that flight, it was a Delta airplane, they are all being offered $30,000 each for their troubles.
I read
distress.
that there's like no strings attached. I thought so they can't sue. Like this is like, but you can't sue us. But they said no strings attached.
If everybody on the plane
get some
accepted,
goodwill,
that would be a $2.3 million payout from Delta. Too much? Too little? Not. Where are we at here?
I mean, no one died.
You survived that.
It was probably the most terrifying experience of all of their lives.
Correct.
Saw the video from inside where they're hanging upside down in the seats from the. It's awful.
I don't want to talk about this. It makes me. I'm terrified. I got.
But I'll take the $30,000.
I was more talking about the money.
I'll take it.
I mean, if that happened to you and they offered you $30,000, I guess you're not saying no.
Why would you say no?
But are you
No strings attached?
Are you satisfied?
I need more.
For what?
I don't know.
For almost dying?
Yeah. What are they, multi-billion-dollar
What's your
corporation?
almost death worth, Woods?
$500K.
So you're almost dead.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't really have a scratch.
Right.
It's just scared. You were just scared.
I'm going to need $500,000. It's definitely six figures. It's not five. It's six.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, you're walking away with $15,000 after taxes. Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
$15,000 for that? No. More.
I wouldn't
couple free flights.
I wouldn't sign up for it. I'm saying if I lived through it and I was okay, I'll just take the $30K. They don't have to offer anything, I don't think. Right? I mean, there's no legal obligation. They have to refund their tickets probably.
I'm sure there's fine print in every
Yeah.
airplane ticket that you buy, but do you get to sue them if their plane crashes?
I
don't feel like
you do.
I mean, was it a random gust of wind or was it a mechanical failure? I
think it was
guess they're gonna have to investigate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're done. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We'll talk to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Enjoy the Padres baseball. Have a great weekend, everybody. For Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Talk to you later on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.